Hello, world. We're back with everyone's favorite con man, Matthew B. Cox. On this episode, we talked about the current state of media and the true crime genre specifically. We talked about John McAfee, Bill Cosby, Donald Trump, you name it. We covered it. We were exceptionally fired up on this episode. Please enjoy this invigorating episode with Matthew B. Cox. Matthew B. Cox in the flesh, back with his new book, with the fancy new book cover.
I just got a new book
Matthew
cover.
B. Cox is here.
I like that one.
It's better.
Let me see it.
It's better. Everybody says it's better. This is just a sample. I just got that like yesterday. So
Matthew B. Cox is here with new books, new paintings. And did you get some work done on the hairline?
No, not recently. I don't need to, bro. It's
clean.
It's permanent.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
I need
fade.
a haircut. No.
Wow. It's not like Botox. You got to get a touch up every now and again. The hairline is just do it once and there's no maintenance required.
It's definitely graying. It's graying. Am I close?
That's all right. You can do it just for men, right?
I'm not doing that. Everybody says that. That's what I meant.
Oh, the color?
Yeah, but dude, just go
silver.
I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Like
I am going. I'm going.
The silver fox.
The silver fox.
Instead of the silver cox, the silver fox or the silver cox.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. It's like this moments like this that I think.
Why the fuck am I here?
Why did you just drive an hour?
What are you talking about, Matt? You know exactly why you drove an hour. This is your favorite podcast.
Let's see, what are we doing?
This is where it started.
Tighten this up.
Thank you for the espresso. Bro, I love your new podcast. You got a new format on your show. You're interviewing people just like this. You got con men coming on there and talking about their stories. You're interviewing them, and it's great. I think it fits you perfectly.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. It's fun. I mean, just talking on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's way better. It was very weird watching you do like the straight to camera shit. Like
horrible,
like
bro.
Graham Stephan. Like, hey guys, this is me today. I'm drinking a Starbucks.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard to do that. Like hard to. It's just so stupid. This is just a conversation. It just happens to be that I have to wear these things now, and I'm saying it's not a big. Like this isn't a big deal. This is very. This is just going
when
to dinner,
you're just talking to yourself in the camera.
It's just ridiculous.
That's
I'm standing
weird.
in the kitchen, or I'm staring at the camera, and it's bad.
It was awkward. You could tell it was very unnatural for you.
Yeah, it's tough.
Where are you getting your guests from? The people you already know, or
Tyler gets people, and then it's also people I know. It's people like guys I was locked up with, my buddy Zach, and then I was locked up with this guy Juan, and then a buddy of mine knew this bank robber who'd robbed like 10 banks in an armored car, and he was like, "Bro, you gotta interview this guy."
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a bunch of other people like Juan. What happens is all these criminals know other criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right, of course.
all you have to do is go, "Hey, do you know anybody else? Anybody that might be? Man, do you remember so and so? I know so and so." And next thing you know, you've got 5 other people, and that's what's happening is I'm getting other people lined up to do podcasts. But it's a problem getting people to come in.
Oh, really? They don't want to travel, right?
Well,
they want you to pay for.
What if somebody's in 3 states away? I can't. I'm not. I'm not Danny. I'm not a big shot.
You ain't paying for him.
I can't pay $300 for a plane thing and then $150 for a night. A night at a hotel. I can't do all that.
That's the struggle, bro. Do it on Skype.
I don't want to do Skype. You don't want to do Skype. Skype is horrible. Everybody's it's
sucks.
not a big deal. It's the worst.
It's the worst. Some people do only Skype, and it's just so fucking weird. I just turn it off if it's on Skype.
Yeah,
unless it's like a super rare interview where someone can't come here. Somebody like fucking Snowden.
Sean Atwood.
Oh yeah,
Snowden's clearly not coming.
Snowden.
I had to risk it for Koncrete.
For Koncrete, yeah.
Thought I could sneak in. That'd be great in the press conference, right?
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
Or McAfee.
How do you say his name?
McAfee.
McAfee?
It's McAfee.
I've been saying McAfee.
Like McDonald's
I
coffee.
thought it was McAfee too.
No, it's McAfee.
McAfee.
I'm pretty sure it's
I'll
McAfee.
try.
McAfee.
Oh, I had some people correct me. These guys the guys in the comments will tear
they'll let us
you
know.
apart.
Did you do a video? You did like a video, like a deep dive explanation on McAfee and his story, right?
I don't know about deep, but we did have a little bit of a conversation. My buddy.
What did you find out about him? What did you do? What did you say?
I watched.
What's the scoop?
I watched like 4 videos, and I'd already when I was locked up, I read the article that was in Wired magazine, so I already knew who he was, which is pretty cool because a lot of things happen, and people are like, "Oh, did you hear about so and so?" And I'm like, "Man, I have no idea who that person is." You know, I don't keep up with any of that stuff. But this, I actually, as soon as they said it, I knew who he was. And then I watched a couple of videos. I mean, what did I learn? The guy's, my buddy Zach, he's like 100% positive. Like, oh, he was killed. He was killed. There's no way. He wasn't. He was killed. But look, unlike Epstein, you know, I know the Epstein, he was definitely murdered. Unlike Epstein, like this part, like the McAfee, man, that's bizarre. This guy is literally saying, look, these people are out to get me.
Right.
They're coming for me. They've sent me messages. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not suicidal. I'm perfectly sane. I'm not depressed. I mean, he's saying all these tweets. He's sending out tweets. He's sending out messages. And then as soon as you find out, okay, he's going to be extradited to the United States, within hours, he's found hung in his cell.
So what's your take on it? What do you think happened?
Well, I mean, first of all,
do you think he killed himself, or what do you think?
You know, I hate to say that. I hate to say, oh, he didn't, because I don't know. You don't know. Zach,
right, no, this is all speculation.
Right. But I mean, I hate those guys that rush to judgment. And it's like, you know, it reminds me of
yeah, but that's what podcasts are about. They're about being Monday morning quarterbacks.
I know, but I hate that.
They're about
stupid.
slinging your ideas, slinging your opinion.
You know what bothers me? When I grew up,
whatever you say is a fact, Matt.
Well, it's not a fact. But look, you know, okay, when I grew up, you guys are probably don't remember this. This woman sued McDonald's because she spilled her coffee on herself, and she won like $5 million or something.
Yeah,
whatever.
Because it burned her or whatever.
Right.
Hello.
I'm fucking real.
I'm doing a podcast right now on Koncrete.
Oh, okay.
All right.
What's up?
Who
is that?
Boziak.
What's up, Boziak?
All right. Let me give you a call back.
All right.
Bye.
I feel like he calls you every time we're doing a podcast.
Does he? Did he last time?
Yeah.
I think so.
So the woman in McDonald's, this is the reason I feel like this is like the woman in McDonald's. Everybody went nuts. The media went nuts. They were like, "This is ridiculous. They're giving her all this money," and they made a snap judgment. That was the soundbite was, she drove through the drive-through, asked for coffee. She spilled it on herself. She sued and got $5 million. Now I don't know if it was 3.5. I don't know. So I'm just saying 5. You know, and boom. Isn't that so ridiculous? Like, how much did she get? $3 million.
1992, 80-year-old woman gets $3 million because she suffered punitive damages for the burns.
Right. So here's the thing.
It was dangerously hot.
It was not just hot, but dangerously hot.
Well, here's the thing. So you hear that, and that's the media, right? And you're like, oh, okay. You're like, that is ridiculous. Oh, come on, man. You spilled the coffee. What's the problem?
Right.
Then you go, okay, you know, how could a jury find that? Well, because the jury found that because the jury got all the facts. You didn't. You don't get that off the news. You don't know what happened. What really happened is McDonald's over the last 10 years had been telling McDonald's, you're boiling your coffee and it will cause, you know, whatever, 3rd, 4th, 5th degree burns. You know, people are complaining it's too hot, and McDonald's is saying, you know, we don't care. People like it hot.
Is it?
Right. So here's what happens.
Is it hot?
It's so hot that
Is it fuck?
It's so hot that that your cups and everything actually melt. Right?
Yeah.
So the tops are popping off. So some woman, they barely put on the top, they hand it to her, it drops in her lap, and she has to have skin grafts to do reconstructive surgery on her vagina.
Ooh, fuck. An 80-year-old vagina?
And which is already going to be hard, right? To deal with.
What's the point? No one's looking down there anyways. Let it fucking leave the burn scars.
So anyway.
It's better for the settlement if you get the surgery.
It's got to get the surgery.
That surgery, yeah, that'll be different.
Now you know that McDonald's has known this is a problem. They've been told over and over again. They've completely disregarded it. This woman gets burned. Now what do you do? You know, now does she deserve to win and a good chunk of money?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And the punitive damages is, it's not necessarily, hey, this is your pain and suffering. Well, what we're saying is,
what does that sound, bro? God damn.
It's my phone, but
You guys fucking ignorant.
What does that
backwoods
sound?
asshole
That's
over
like
here.
some old fucking computer
Oh
tone.
yeah, you know what? It's a telegraph sound.
Telegraph.
Like a-
That's what it is. Yeah.
Is that how they communicated with you in prison?
That was sign language.
So I'm saying now you look at it and you go, hey, if you had to have reconstructive surgery on your dick because McDonald's knew the coffee was too hot and that it was melting the lids.
They were negligent.
Right. They were negligent. Now do you think you deserve anything? And then it's like,
Hell
oh, well,
yeah.
yeah, okay, now I see.
Fucking right.
So, from the media, he was found dead. I don't know, but here's what really freaked me out. So I'm on the internet and everything, I'm watching all these videos about him saying, look, if I end up dead, like they find my body, he actually tattoos the whacked.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was whacked. I was killed. It wasn't suicide. I'm not suicidal. I'm doing fine. I've got friends here. I'm good. So then he ends up getting killed. And everything on the internet where people are just being able to report it, they're saying, look, this is insane. This is crazy. But when I watched ABC News, it was so benign. It was like, McAfee, what a life he lived. It was very controversial. He was implicated in a murder in like Aruba or something. I forget where it was. Belize. He was implicated in a murder. He evaded taxes. He was indicted for tax evasion. He was possibly going to spend the next 30 years in prison for tax evasion. He was caught in Spain, and they were going to extradite him. And this is what he tweeted just before, his body was found. And the tweet was like, I have no more Bitcoin. I have no more money. Something like, I love my family. I am at peace. His body was found a week later, hours after.
So they really painted the picture
and
for
I'm
you.
thinking to myself, are you serious? Did you guys just read is that the U.S. press release you just read? I mean, if you'd even looked on YouTube or anything else and looked at all this other, you're not even going to mention that he said he wasn't suicidal. He would never kill himself. You're not even going to mention that?
Right.
They completely went with like the party line.
Right, but we all know all that corporatized media, ABC, NBC, Fox. We all know that's owned by the government. They're all in bed with the government.
So
they're not going to go
obvious.
against the
You understand?
government.
It's not normally obvious like that. Like it's not that. Like it was so like you're literally. It was insane.
But that's the complete opposite on the internet, though. Everybody on the fucking internet is saying, "Oh my God, it's another Epstein." The guy
I know,
fucking obviously didn't kill himself. If you have half a brain and you can look up his Twitter account, you can see all his tweets, see his tattoos, see all that shit. Everyone was saying that like, there's no way this guy actually killed himself.
Right. I don't even know how. Here's the problem. Here's what my problem is. I don't even know how you would kill yourself in a cell like that. It's it's.
But he wasn't really in a cell, was he? He was live streaming on the internet every day.
He was tweeting and he was still in
He was
cell.
doing podcasts.
Not from.
Yeah, bro. He had access to like a podcast studio. There was a podcast he did like a month before that.
I think there's video of him.
He's on Twitter every fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how to me, I think it's very possible that he obviously had access to some kind of computer and he's tweeting or maybe a phone. I don't know. Look, Spanish prisons are not, at the level he was at, these are not harsh places. You know what I mean? These are not harsh prisons.
Right.
And they always make it sound like he's going to do 30 years. He's 75 years old. He's going to do 30 years in prison. What do you mean he's going to do 30 years? He's probably going to do 3 or 4 years in prison, maybe 5 years in prison.
No, if he goes to the U.S. and if he gets extradited to the U.S., he's doing 30. Easily 30.
Just for tax
evasion? They'll fucking nail you to the cross, bro.
No, you do a couple years,
okay,
right?
Look, yeah, absolutely. You do
for
a couple,
that much?
You'll do a few years.
He just, this isn't just
No.
tax evasion. This
You're
guy
not-
said straight up, "Fuck you, I'm not paying tax."
I understand, but here's the
they might try
difference:
to
is
stick it to you for that.
they'll say, let's say they say $20 million in tax evasion. Do you understand? They're saying you didn't pay taxes on $20 million. Okay, so what do I owe you? 6? Okay, well, if we'll make a deal, I'll pay you the 6. I'll do 5 years in prison. I'm out in 3 because I can take the drug program. I'm probably 2.5. I'm probably in a halfway house. I do 2.5 years. They're going to include the time that he spent while incarcerated already, while he was incarcerated in Spain. So by the time you get here, you're looking at 1.5 to 2 years, and you're out, and I pay the $6 million. So he's not doing. Look, they said I was facing 154 years. I was never facing 100. Yeah, if I went to trial and they stacked it,
Right, so the
Is it
maximum.
possible? I mean, yeah. It's
See if you can pull up any sort of like recent tax evasion case, like federal tax evasion prison sentence from anybody.
Because I've never been in prison and met people for
Yeah.
tax evasion.
We need the internet.
So okay, the history of John McAfee is throughout the 80s and 90s, right? He was living large. At some point, I think it was in the 90s, he sold his part of McAfee antivirus to Microsoft. He got $100 million,
Right.
when he should have got billions.
I
And
think years later it was worth a ton more. Yeah.
Right. And
He was a nut.
He was a nut. His dad committed suicide. His dad was an alcoholic. He was obviously boozing, doing tons of coke. He was doing all kinds of drugs. The guy was by no means sane. I don't think you can call him sane. Have you watched any of his interviews?
No,
fucking cuckoo.
he's absolutely nut.
He's absolutely nutty.
On all kinds of drugs.
And a lot of people say he's a fucking
Hell yeah.
egomaniac on top
yeah,
of it.
yeah. He's definitely narcissistic.
So if you're him, and that's
the other thing.
2000.
Narcissists don't kill themselves. I'm not killing myself. There's
Right.
no way. I'm taking out
That's a good
everybody
point.
else I can think
Right,
of
right.
first.
That's a good point.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's just,
that is
it just
a good
hardly ever
take on
happens.
that.
Sorry, but go ahead.
So I'm saying the guy's he's obviously a fucking egomaniac, and he had a problem with drugs, a big problem with drugs and alcohol, and he was a little fucking loopy, more than a little loopy,
Right.
just judging by his Twitter. So if I'm John McAfee and I am depressed and I am considering suicide, why not just fuck with everybody?
3.5 years. Would that
3 to
get
5.
That's it? 3.5?
3 to 5.
Okay, I thought it would be way worse. I thought they'd try to make an example out of you and try to like pin you to 20 years or
Well, I
something.
mean, if you go to trial,
Yeah.
can you get 30 years? Yeah, you can.
Right.
Do they?
Nobody takes that to trial.
Nobody's going. Look, if you're just blatantly guilty,
Right, especially when your other's just saying, I'm not paying
Yeah, I'm not
fucking
gonna-
taxes.
right,
yeah.
You have no trial
yeah,
case.
okay, all right.
But he did some other scammy shit. He pulled some Bitcoin scams. He did some Bitcoin pump and dumps where he tried to like pump the price of Bitcoin
But they
on
hadn't.
social
They,
media.
I don't think that's not. I think he was indicted for tax evasion, though. He
It was
wasn't
only- that was
indicted
only
for
tax
that.
evasion?
Like they
Okay.
may have superseded.
Alex
given him
Jones said he
superseded.
was a spy. Alex Jones said that he was a spy for a bunch of other countries and doing all kinds of crazy shit. But anyways, what I was getting to about his personality and his
knows?
kookiness and his drug abuse and shit like that.
Right.
If I'm him and I do want to kill myself, why not fucking go crazy and try to fuck with the internet and just make some sort of crazy legacy for myself and say, maybe if I do want to kill myself, maybe I'll fucking tattoo on myself whacked and make the whole world think when I go out that I got whacked by the feds.
I mean, yes.
Why not just try to troll people and make some sort of legacy out of it? You know what I
Right.
mean? Why try to fuck with people? Because do the feds, like, how much do they give a fuck about John McAfee?
I don't know.
How much do they really give a fuck? A guy who committed tax evasion and did some Bitcoin pump and dumps?
Maybe he's got some info.
I mean, he. Yeah, that was the other thing he said. He had all this. Was it 3 terabytes or something? Whatever, megabytes or whatever those.
He had
things
some
are.
info.
He had info on corruption and so what? No, but first
Right.
of all, that part didn't even like faze me. It's like, oh, come on, stop.
Yeah, there's this thing called a
Like he's Raymond Reddington from the Blacklist. Like he's got like I'm going to expose the cabal.
what's the term? There's a term for people who it's like a I forget what the fucking word is, but it's basically like a term for like when a suicide bomber, like a suicide bomber comes in and someone shoots you, you let go of the trigger and everyone gets fucking killed.
It's a dead man switch.
A dead man switch. Yes. A dead man switch. So that's like what he kind of had was
like
a dead
that.
man switch. So if he got a bullet, if he got killed, the switch would go off and all of the info, all the shit that he would have and everyone would get released, right?
Where is it?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they say about Epstein too. Like why wouldn't he have a dead man switch?
Because he didn't have anything and he killed himself. So.
that's
Epstein,
what
I
you
can.
think,
I
you think he
I
kills
think
himself.
No, Epstein.
You don't think Epstein had
I
anything?
think
Come on.
where is it? I think he killed himself.
Yeah.
Epstein, I just can't imagine that you could get into a federal like a lot of guys are like this. Look, so I've like Zach was telling, we were arguing, and it was the argument was he was saying, well, why not just wait till he gets back here, right, and kill him back here because it's easier to get to him in a Spanish prison, and then there's an investigation in a Spanish prison, and how much do they give a crap about some American that died in a
Right.
Spanish prison? You get him back here, how are you going to get into the marshal's holdover?
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. These things are inside of pens, and it's difficult.
What does it say? John McAfee tweeted before his death that he stored computer files in a Florida condo building that later, what? Scroll down a little bit. That later collapsed. What?
I've heard this one.
Is that real?
I think this is false news because
It's on PolitiFact. That means it's a fact. The name of this website has the word fact in it.
Yeah, it's clearly true. It's undisputable.
Doesn't mean that.
Conspiracy theories escalated quickly around the death of technology entrepreneur John McAfee in a Barcelona prison where he was waiting extradition to the U.S. on tax evasion charges. Spain's El País newspaper reported that McAfee, who developed the first commercial antivirus software, blah, 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 blah. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, QAnon.
He posted scroll up a little bit.
See the QAnon?
A June 25th Instagram post appeared to link McAfee's death to June 23 with another major news event, the collapse of a condominium building near Miami the next day. What? The next day? Huh.
Yeah. So
I
did
don't
you
know.
see the thing at the top? Look, go right. Stop. See where it says QAnon?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But rumors linked to the baseless QAnon conspiracy theory, whose followers believe what?
Democrat celebrities were involved in an underground child trafficking ring. Cover it by QAnon. Often, I don't know.
You know what the collapse of the building reminds
So it's
me
a
of?
QAnon theory that he hid the files in that building that
Yeah.
collapsed.
Listen. Okay, so when I was locked up in was I in the Medium? Did I work there? Yeah, I was in the Medium. When I was in the Medium at Coleman, so I worked with this guy every day for a year. Talked to him at least, 5 minutes here, like any worker. I worked in the library at one point. So I taught real estate classes. I worked in the library, and then at another point I taught GED. But for like a year or so, I worked in the library. So I see this guy all the time. He's like the head librarian. Nice guy. We're always talking. We talk a little about this, a little bit about that, politics, what's going on. Because at that time, I would watch the news and everything. Totally normal guy. Everything was super normal. Talked about movies, everything. Guy's normal. One day, I happened to say, "So you still working on your case?" He's like, he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, but after Oklahoma City, I just don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. I mean, I can't get the evidence is destroyed." And I went, "Oklahoma City," and he looked at me and he goes, "Timothy McVeigh and Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City bomber."
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I went, well, what does that have to do with your case? Like, this guy knew this guy had been locked up like 20 years, so way before Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And he said, the FBI was storing the evidence in my trial at the field office in Oklahoma City. And I said, I thought you were prosecuted out of Orlando. And he's like, I was, but that's where they were storing the files. By the way, that's absolutely not true. That's not where your files are stored.
Yeah.
Okay, there is no storage in a field office in Oklahoma City. All right, they're stored at the U.S. Attorney's office or at the FBI at the field office where you're being prosecuted out of, which he wasn't. You ever been to Oklahoma City? No. Why were they stored there? Exactly. So he goes, they bombed the FBI field office and took the building down to destroy my evidence.
His evidence.
So they killed like 30 some odd kids, a bunch of FBI agents, a whole bunch of other people working in the building. They framed Timothy McVeigh all to destroy your evidence, to keep you in prison because you got 30 years, you've already done 20 of it, and you got 5 left. This guy always seemed normal for a year.
Well, how do you know? Maybe his files were stored there. How do you know? How do you know they weren't?
Insane. They are not.
You just said he was normal up to the point he said this one thing.
Right. He had this. Look, you could talk to Frank Amadeo and have a great conversation with him and just happen. You could do it for a year, and then one day you happen upon something, and he starts telling you about how he's going to take over the world. Some of these guys have these little tiny little. It's this little dark room somewhere in their head, and one day you're opening up doors, and you open that one door, and you find out the guy's insane.
That's fucking nuts.
He had that one little. That's the QAnon guys.
But isn't there a conspiracy? There is an FBI. I don't know anything about it, but there is a conspiracy about the Oklahoma City bombing.
Right, except for the fact that when they talked to Timothy McVeigh, he laid out exactly what he did.
Yeah.
He didn't say I was hired, I was framed. He was saying, he's like, yeah, this is what I did. Because they fucking brainwashed him with MK Ultra. Okay, let's move on.
They brainwashed his.
This is insane.
What
are you doing?
They fucking
What
brainwashed
are
his
you
ass
doing?
using
Danny's
LSD.
part of QAnon.
Oh my god! Listen, listen. Half the guys on
Look,
YouTube
I'm spitting facts. Okay,
are
you can quote me. You can fact check everything I say.
I told you about. Did I ever tell you about the one guy that told me? This is after Trump had lost. He was about to step down, and this guy sent me an email saying, "Look, I have evidence of government corruption and this and this and this." And so these guys will say this kind of stuff, and if they're persistent enough and they sound credible. This guy seemed kind of credible. Like it was like, yeah, it's worth a phone call. It's like, all right, here's my cell number. Shoot me an email, or I'll talk to you at this time. I talked to him. He was telling me about how Trump was working. Was it working with the military? I forget who he was. Oh, and China, and that they were about to bomb. No, China was going to bomb some facility that was under like Mount Rushmore, and they were going to collapse the entire our entire economy. And we were doing that. And he's like, Trump's been working with them the whole time. And he goes on and on and on. And I'm listening to him. I mean, he's just nuts. And I'm listening to him, and I went, bro, you do understand that after tomorrow, Trump's no longer president. He's like, that's what they want you to believe, bro. Oh, he's going to, when this happens, oh, no, he's still president. He's going to be president. Nah, bro, I'm pretty sure that he just, the guy was, and honestly, like now when these guys call, like when they say crazy shit in the comment section, now I'm like, email me, bro. We got to get you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I need to talk to you,
This
buddy.
crazy fucker.
They'd be like, right.
Bro, this podcast has turned me into a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, I'll bet.
The motherfuckers I get on here are fucking are changing the way my brain works.
So convincing, and you can manipulate facts. You can tweak it here and tweak it here to shift it one way or the other. The media does it all the time, but you get somebody who's really good. You can really twist up some stories.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of miss Trump now that he's not in office.
No, he was great entertainment.
He was fucking phenomenal entertainment. He was great for media, great for the internet. There was a headline every single fucking day about him.
Now it's just like
I miss him. I truly miss him.
Listen, it's sad watching Biden.
It really
like
is
I feel
fucking
bad.
sad.
Like I'm
it's
like
pathetic.
God, I hope there's no major decisions that have to be made. Like this is bad.
It's fucking pathetic, bro. Just watching. Did you watch his coronavirus speech the other day?
No, I can't watch
Everybody, I'm begging you, get vaccinated. And now they're saying they're going to come to your doors and vaccinate you. They're going to go door to door like the fucking consensus thing.
Have you been vaccinated?
No, he ain't getting vaxxed.
Me neither.
Me neither. None of us are getting vaxxed.
I'm not doing it. They're not implanting those chips in me.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan told me all I need to do is say my prayers and take my vitamins. So that's what I'm doing. Was it Hulk Hogan or Joe Rogan? I don't know. I think it was Hulk Hogan.
Same thing.
Good time. Good time.
I love your Trump. Do you think he's going to be president in 2024?
Listen, would that be hilarious?
I would love it. I really
Nobody's
would
ever
love
done that before.
I would
know,
vote
right?
for him. I
What,
swear to God,
no,
I'd be
are you
really
sure?
No, I don't think anybody's ever been in a term, left for a term, and then come back for another term.
No, I don't think it has either.
Yeah, we have to look in that. Somebody smarter than us.
I'm pretty
that
sure
up.
that's true.
Yeah. The Trump's good.
Did you see Tucker Carlson
I
said
already sold one of the Trumps.
Did you really?
I had 3.
Go get it. Show it to us. Let me see what that fucker looks like.
Well, the one that sold is sold.
Well, you got 2 right there.
I know. Okay. You wanted me
Go
to
grab
walk.
it. It's
You wanted me to
beautiful.
walk off with the headphones
Austin's
on
got
and
it.
snap back.
Yeah, Austin will get it. Oh no, Austin changing the battery. He can get the Trump first.
That's what you were playing, and that was the plan. That's like when someone's holding a glass.
Look at
and
that
say, "What
beauty.
time is
Grab it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold it. You gotta hold it on that side of you.
What side?
Basically where your head was before. There you
There you
go.
go.
Boom.
Nice.
Trump 2024. Are you selling this shit on your website?
No. You have to email me.
Ooh.
Or go to my website and get my email.
Matt-
Website? No. You can go to you go to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel.
There you go.
I got to plug the YouTube channel.
There you go.
Colby would be
What
proud
is
of me.
Inside
Colby's-
True Crime, Matt Cox?
Yeah, it's just Matt Cox or Inside True Crime. It'll show up.
So explain to me, what was your process in creating this picture?
Nice. He goes with the process.
Explain to me your creative process for this.
I use the
It
presidential.
looks like it
portrait.
was printed on a
is.
fucking printer.
No. It's a screen.
is.
It's a screen print. Then I go back and I paint over the screen print. Then I screen print it again to get the little dots.
Ooh.
Because I like the little dots.
What's the word? What's the term for that? The little dots?
Like little dots. I don't know.
Isn't there an artistic term? Don't you have a fine arts degree?
He's just mean. I mean, you're just. I don't know. What do you mean? What is it? It was pointillism, but it's not pointillism.
Pointillism.
I'm not
Okay, there you
doing
go.
the
There you go. Pointillism.
Yeah. It's basically it's called a modified screen print. It's where you're using, it's like.
I love how you did the
mixed
sides too. The side, how you painted the
media. I
sides.
always paint the sides.
That's fucking dope.
I even threw a star in there.
Ooh.
Wrap the star.
His mom or grandma would pay top dollar for that thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
So would my dad probably would love it too.
People love Trump.
People do love Trump.
You know what I was thinking about doing?
He's fun. He was fun.
What
I like that one's cool too. I like that one. It's kind of like a burgundy background.
Merlot.
Merlot.
The Marilyn Monroe's sell. I've already got 3 Marilyn Monroe. I did like 5 Marilyn Monroes. 3 of them are sold already.
Would you do a Charles Manson?
I could do a Charles Manson.
Then you would have the Manson and the Marilyn and the Manson.
Mm.
It's just so corny. You're gonna
And we could send them to Marilyn Manson.
You make a great dad. You always tell us the dad jokes, right? They're corny dad jokes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you're selling these things on your website or on your? You just got to email you and you sell them.
Yeah,
to
you
them.
just email me.
How much? What do they go for?
I $285 and I mail them to you for that.
Oh really?
So I
include shipping.
That includes shipping.
And like a personalized
shipping.
note or something.
I mean, if somebody wants,
They're already signed. MCox.
Yeah, I sign them. If somebody said, "Hey, can you sign the back or something?" Whatever, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I even got special boxes that fit them perfectly. I mean, it's
nice.
I got it down, and the bubblegum girl one. Like I've sold a bunch of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob Zombie one.
And then I've started selling the screamer.
Yeah.
Where the guy's screaming.
Yeah. I love the one.
What about the special one?
The really special?
Oh my god. All right, so I do get guys, and it is weird.
It's really gay.
I knew he was gonna say you have to go with
He's
go
always
gay.
got to take it there.
Listen, guys ask me all the time, bro. I want a portrait. I'm like, of who? And they're like, of you. And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't done one. I think, you know what I'll do? I'll just do a screen print. I'll screen print them, and then I can paint them in and do whatever, and I'll throw some sharks in there, and then that'll be it. I can knock those out, and I'll sell them for the same thing. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Why are you laughing?
Because it's just funny. Like someone
What
said,
am I
want
supposed to say?
So you say, I want a portrait, and this is what you come up with.
This is what I came up with, and Danny hates it.
Let's see
But
it.
we
I don't hate it.
we don't care about.
I think
Danny's
it's fucking
opinion.
beautiful.
No,
I think
we
it's
don't
fucking
care.
Do
beautiful.
not. You've given
I
me
think
a hard
it's
time.
hilarious.
Hilarious. Okay.
It is fucking comical,
Austin's got it.
but it's great. I love it. I'm not hating on it.
Oh, okay.
It is just.
Dum da dum dum.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
There.
So this is Matt's self-portrait.
Yeah.
Oh my! What do you call that look you're doing right there? What's that face?
That's me messing with my iPhone camera. That was it.
That's like, hey, what's up, baby?
Do not make
What's
that
up?
face in prison.
All right, come on, man. What's going on?
How much does that one go for?
How did you take that photo?
It was my iPhone. I put it on a stand, and I was taking pictures, and that was I took a bunch of pictures, and I looked at that one. I said, I like that one. I sent it to a couple of people, and they were like, yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm trying to.
You've
I just
sent
wanna
a couple of those out?
No, just the photo.
Oh, I got you.
And that was it.
How much is that one going for? That's at least 500.
That's at least
285.
500.
285.
No way. That one's double.
That's $4.99 free shipping all day.
Anyway. I guess I should have sent it to Danny first.
Yeah.
No,
right.
you sent it to me a while ago. You were going to make
Absolutely.
it an NFT.
Yeah,
You were going to
I
make
was.
it an NFT.
Fucking
Oh,
NFT.
man. I can't get enough of that painting. I want to put that on my wall.
I could see that in your house.
We need to do a Koncrete. One of these for Koncrete. I could knock it
Yeah.
out over and over. And I asked Danny about that. I said, yeah, Danny, I'll do you. No, I don't want to be on it. Who
You can do one for me. Just do some K's in the background. A bunch of K's.
Who are you going to put on it if not you?
Just do like a
Right.
K pattern.
You could put you with the microphone.
No,
you know,
that's gay. I don't want that.
Why is everything gay?
I don't know.
You're probably listen. There's probably a large percentage of your viewers that are gay. You're
That's
probably
fine.
upsetting them right now.
That's fine. I'm going to get canceled. My podcast, I'm going to get shadow banned because I said the word
What
gay.
is shadow ban? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, I got shadow banned last week on an episode.
YouTube.
What does that mean?
It means they take your shit off search. If you search for it, it doesn't propagate at all in search.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So
I have a couple
basically
episodes.
nobody sees it anywhere.
Just saying shadow ban probably just got you shadow banned.
Well, they're already
Okay, so
on
if this
to us.
doesn't do well, it's not my fault.
Yeah, it sucks. It happened to me.
Just like a
I
week
forget
ago.
what episode.
What was it on?
I did an episode a week ago.
What was it on?
Was the guy the
it was,
FBI
no, it was the
something,
guy. It was Tom O'Neill. He wrote a book about Charles Manson. He spent 20
yeah.
years investigating the Manson murders and basically found all these holes in the
Why
official
would that
narrative.
be shadow ban?
So the title, I think I went a little too crazy with the title.
Redo the title.
I didn't have to. I tweeted at YouTube and I asked YouTube. I said, "Hey, what's the deal? Why is this episode not appearing anywhere on search? You can search for the literal exact title of the episode and it doesn't appear on search. Like it's impossible to find it unless you actually go to the channel, go under videos, you'll see it there." And they said, "Oh, it probably got flagged in our system, which means it's invisible on search." And then the next morning it was back up. It was visible. So it's a thing they do. I mean, it's basically
So it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah. So the title of the video was something like the CIA's secret program to brainwash people with, or how the
Brainwash
CIA
Manson.
brainwashed Charles Manson with LSD. Basically, it was something like that. And I guess that triggered their system, and
Too much.
they took it off search. But
Too
that's
much.
crazy, isn't it? It's fucking crazy that they do that. That they have something that will literally take your shit and make it invisible to people.
That's not crazy to me.
Well,
No?
No.
Why?
Why wouldn't they do that? They own the fucking platform. They do whatever they
well,
want.
okay.
They have people they got to protect, and
Here's the problem.
Yeah,
I
the
get-
CIA?
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
probably. You
here's-
think the CIA doesn't use YouTube's information for fucking intel and stuff? I'm sure they're somebody.
I think they 100% can use
Right.
YouTube's information, but that goes against fucking whatever amendment the free speech amendment
Well,
is.
that's what I was just
Yeah.
going to say is like a lot of people would argue, hey, well, it's a private company. They can do whatever they want. But when you become so large that you kind of become a part of like the social fabric, then you get to that point where you go, okay, well, wait a minute. You're a monopoly now. So people don't really have an alternative that's as widely used. I mean, this is a massive, massive platform. Like nobody else is there. You can say, "Oh yeah, you can use Reddit." No, but you can use. No, you can't. Nothing's like YouTube. It's massive. So at that point, you kind of have to start abiding by like the
Their rules.
Constitution. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You have
Well,
to.
it's like a new
Oh,
constitution.
No,
Them
see,
you're
see,
saying.
you're saying what they're saying is no,
Yeah.
it's ours. We own it. No. You know, you have to start abiding by like the Constitution at that point. There comes a point when you're so large.
That you're like a town
Yeah,
square.
right. You're a monopoly. You can't, because now you can actually start swaying things. You can start censoring
But is that
people.
real? Do you have to do that?
I mean, you do. I think you get to that point. It's kind of like
Well, there's no law saying that. No.
Well, that's what I mean.
They are a
well,
monopoly.
I mean, yes and no. Look at Microsoft. Like back in the 80s when Microsoft came out, they started saying Microsoft started saying, "Hey, listen, you're a small software store that sells software. Great. Yeah, we want to sell your Windows. Okay, here's our Windows. So you can sell our Windows, but we also need a percentage of everything else your store's selling." What? Yeah. So here's the problem: is that they were doing that. Well, that becomes illegal because you become basically it's almost like racketeering. And if their whole thing was, well, they don't have to sell our product. Yeah, but if they don't, they go under.
Right.
Because it's the main product that's being sold out there everywhere. So you're basically saying you can go under or you can give me a portion of your business. And people are doing it. Well, they launched this massive investigation. That's back when they were talking about breaking up Microsoft. Like, this thing is too big. We're going to have to break it apart. Mm-hmm. And they fought it, and they didn't. But then they stopped doing that also. They said, okay, we'll stop this practice and this practice and this practice.
It's really scary. It's really scary, especially if you're on your own, you're independent, somebody who's creating your own stuff, and this is how you pay your bills. This is how you make a living off of making these videos and posting shit on YouTube.
Right.
Because you have to you're constantly worried about these boundaries that you have to stay within. Like there's YouTube channels where guys like specifically talk about guns and firearms and like the Second Amendment and all this stuff.
One day,
these
boom,
guys,
they could just take it away.
Well, these guys have tons of followers, tons of subscribers, but they're demonetized. So YouTube can choose the type of content they'll make it unprofitable. Like they can literally choose to make certain topics unprofitable for people to talk about, which takes away their incentive to talk about these sort of things on their platform, which is crazy, which influences the culture of everything.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, look, when that's the Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. Do you remember that Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I think that's true. I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, imagine being fucking Trump, bro. Fucking kicked off Twitter, kicked off YouTube, Facebook, everything.
Yeah. What else are we talking about? Wait. I was gonna say.
No, it's fucking. I mean, it's.
We're not gonna solve it.
It's fucking It's incredibly scary, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to stay very kind of vanilla.
And you can't. And the other thing is those people, they're not going to talk to you. Like they're not going. You think that you can just send them an email or make a phone call and say, hey, can we work on this? Can we work something out? Let's. I'll promise to behave from now on and follow your rules. No, they don't. You're done. They could just suspend you for whatever the fuck they please if they don't like what you're talking about, or if they think that it could be even by accident that you get flagged for something, or like a troll flags your video for something that they don't like.
Yeah, Bozak got a video taken down or demonetized, or was it taken down? Because in the process of it, he talked about how he got an upper respiratory infection from wearing masks. Mm-hmm. And he went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, well, how many masks do you have? He's like, I don't know, 1 or 2. He's like, how often do you wash them? He's like, I don't know, barely ever. He's like, how long have you worn that one? He's like, I've worn this one for like a week. He's like, they were like, that's a problem. We're getting more and more of these infections. So during the conversation, talking about the infection, he's like, I'm sick of these masks. I'm sick of it. Boom.
What happened to it?
The video?
Yeah.
I don't know if it got... Oh, yeah, it got taken down. They took...
Really?
No, was it... It was a strike. Whatever. It was a strike. They took it down.
A strike on his channel for saying that he's sick of the masks.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a strike. It wasn't like a copyright strike.
Right.
It was some other kind of strike. And I said, did you fight it? Did you? Because if they watched the video, it's like, no, man, I don't know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, it doesn't matter. It was a 5-minute video. He's like, oh, I don't care. Mm-hmm. It's fine. But yeah, it was just because he happened in the course of it just said this. And he was really only saying that he was just, up.
He's tired
just frustrated.
of it.
He's just frustrated. He's not telling people not
Don't
to
wear
do
them,
it.
yeah.
Right. But they struck it immediately.
Yeah, it's crazy. They do that to a lot of people. They do it to legitimate doctors that go on YouTube and talk about their studies on the coronavirus, or they talk about their patients who have had COVID and what they think or what their opinion is, or what their research says about the science or whatever. And if it goes against like the official narrative,
Done.
YouTube, it's done.
Right.
So there's no area for conversation about it. There's no room for nuance in anything. As long as if it's against the official narrative, YouTube will strike you and demonetize you and ruin your ability to profit off of whatever you're talking about, or even ban you from YouTube.
Little correction. It's just a little correction. Mm-hmm. It's like having a shock collar on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just a little.
Don't go out of the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in the yard.
Exactly. Don't go out of the...
You want to get zapped up?
Jess said to say hi. She said, say hi to Danny and Hat Rack is what she said.
Hey, Jess, what's up?
I can't show you because she sent me kind of a
Let's see it.
naughty picture. Yeah. Hey, Danny. Hey, Hat Rack. So, all right.
So Jess is back?
Oh, yeah. She's back for now. We know. Who knows how long. That chick. She drains me.
What do you say?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but that was...
They're back and forth.
Listen, I saw her the 2 weeks after, or 2 or 3 weeks after we broke up. I saw her more than I did for the 3 months prior to that.
When you're together?
And listen, furious when something happened, and I was like, yeah, well, and she goes, look, I understand you're going to be dating, and I was like, well, I mean, I've already been on a couple dates, and she was like, couple dates? She goes, it's been a week. And I was like, it's been like a month. And she's like, are you? I mean, she just went nuts. And at that point,
That triggered it.
Spending the night, that night, and the next night, and the next night.
Oh, yeah.
And
She wants to make sure you're not going on no more
Right, it's like,
fucking dates.
What's going on? I mean, you knew this was going to happen. She's like, I mean, you couldn't wait a little bit? I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? There's no grace period.
Yeah.
I mean, we break up on Monday. I'm on a couple.
I'm on
dating.
Tinder on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, I'm hoping I'm lining shit up for Thursday and Friday. Don't get crazy.
That must be a lot of work having to go on Tinder and go on those dating sites to try to find bitches, to find pussy on there.
It's a lot quicker than going to a bar.
Yeah. You don't like going to bars, right?
Heck no. Everybody's his height, your height. No, I can't deal with guys 5'10". It's ridiculous. I'm at a huge disadvantage. Huge. I can't deal with that. No.
You just go on Tinder, let them know right off the rip, 5'2".
Yes, exactly. Nice, 5'2". I caught that. You just immediately any of the ones that are like, oh, it's got to be 5'8" or taller. Done.
Left.
What is your height on Tinder? What did you put your height at?
5'7" with a good pair of shoes.
That's what does it really say
Is
with a
that
good
the
pair of
bio?
shoes?
I do say 5'7".
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
But does it say with a good pair of shoes?
No, you can't
No?
put that in. I just say 5'7".
But now you're just disappointing
And
them,
the
though.
thing, like they're not gonna listen. If they're gonna end up with me, they're gonna be disappointed at some point. At some point, they're not, I'm telling you, I'm not 6'2". Just working with what I got.
Hey, man, that's it.
So I make up for it with enthusiasm.
Yeah, your personality makes up for the height difference, Matt. You have a great personality. My boyfriend may be 5'7", about 5'3", but he's got a great personality.
So mean.
That's not mean. You're very charismatic. People love you, Matt.
I was gonna say. Yeah, I'm negotiating with these guys for a podcast, to do a true crime podcast.
You already have a true crime podcast.
No, like one that's like heavily, produced, like a one that's on, Wondery or those.
Oh,
guys.
like a serial type
Like a
podcast.
exactly,
with
exactly.
music and suspense.
Of course, and interviews, but it's
Dun,
not,
dun, dun.
Right.
Who are you negotiating with? Big Tech.
No, it's a Little Bit Everywhere Productions. They're out of L.A. And I've been talking to the guys, and they're super cool. There's this guy Dan, and we.
So did you sign a shopping agreement?
No, we haven't done it. We've just been going back and forth with their lawyers right now.
Bro, you know how many motherfuckers I've talked to in the past month who tell me about shopping agreements they're in? Oh yeah, I got a shopping agreement.
What does that mean? Nothing.
Like, I got a shopping agreement. Yeah, I'm gonna quit my job next week. I got a shopping agreament. I'm gonna be on Netflix,
Don't
baby.
quit your job, bud.
My literary agent called me, or sent me an email, and then we talked on the phone. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And he was like, "Look, I've got these guys. They produce this. They produce that. They want to option the rights to your story." And I was like, "Wait, my personal story?" And they're like, "Yeah, your personal story. They're this. They've got a Netflix thing, and And I'm like, And he's like, and I could tell he was like, could tell I wasn't all excited about it because I've been through it over and over. It's like I talk to maybe 3 or 4 of these people a month, and it's always the same thing. We're ready to go. We have a production company. We've got to deal with these people and these people. We're gonna. These people are in with this. We have a first look deal with Sony. We've got a first look deal with this so and so. We've produced this. You can look at my IBM or IMB or whatever the hell that thing is. You can look, IMDb, and and you're right. It does look pretty good. By the way, anybody can put one of those up. But it looks good. And they tell how they're connected with all these different things, and it's huge and it's massive, and we're ready to go. I wouldn't be shocked if we weren't in production within 90 days. We've got a meeting scheduled next week. We're ready to go. We just need to go ahead and sign this sign the option, and we'll go ahead and get going. And yeah, I notice your option says 18 months with an extra 6 months automatic extension if you need it. Right. Well, yeah, that's standard. Actually, it's really not standard. Well, I mean, obviously we need that. Well, why do you need that? You have a meeting next week. You would be shocked if we weren't in production in 90 days. Why am I signing an 18-month agreement? Well, that's just the standard. It's not standard. Stop saying it's standard. There's no standard. That's not standard. But they are all. It's always 18 months with an extra 3 months, or 18 months with an extra 9 months, 18 months with 6 months. It's always they're trying to get 18 months. But what they really do is this. You sign one, you sign one, you sign. You've got a true crime story about fraud. You've got one about murder. This guy's had some crappy novel that came out, but it's an interesting kind of story. And so we've got an option agreement with him for 18 months, and they put them all on the shelf. And then when they get the Netflix meeting, they go in and they pitch.
I got
hey, we're
this.
Right. Well, they can say we're pitching Shark in the Housing Pool, and they're like, man, that's amazing. What else do you have? Well, we also have this. So you're one of a bunch of people that they've got, but they're not really pushing just you.
Yeah.
They make it sound like
it's a movie about you.
What are you talking about? They're already talking to cast members.
Right.
They're not sure who's going to play you. Is it going to be so and so or so and so? Our whole team is ready to go, but I need 18 months. We're talking about a $40 million movie here, really?
Yeah.
But you can't give me $20,000 for my option?
Yeah, they like to sell you this pipe dream,
Right.
like that you're going to get some crazy deal and you're something special. But in reality, it's not. It's really like just like the biggest scam.
They're brokers. They're all just brokers. They're hoping to get you locked in so they can sell. You know what it is? It's like flipping contracts for real estate. Yes. Exactly what it is. Sign them up for 90 days and then run around and try and sell the property so you can make the difference. And that's all they're doing. But it's like, look, you don't, you're not going to con me. Okay, this is not how this works, okay? You don't screw me over. I screw you over. That's how this works. Like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? That's not going to happen. And so it's so funny because I have signed a few options, but they've always been like 60 days, like 90 days or 6 months.
Yeah, you can negotiate.
Right, and then they're always cutouts. So I do this cutout and that cutout. By the time it's all the way down, it's like, look, you have 6 months to get me a deal to be the host of a show that talks about true crime. Anything else is off the table. And they're just like, well, what if? Well, wait a minute. If you come and there's some slight alteration, obviously, we'll discuss it at that time. I mean, I'm not stupid. Well, what if we get to the end of the 6 months? So you're telling me you're negotiating a multi-million deal, and at the end of the 6 months, I go, oh, you're hit. Come on, man. I'm not going to do that. I mean, obviously, you're in the negotiations. What am I going to say? Stop talking to him. Talk to me now. Come on, it's unprofessional. Obviously, I'm going to give you an extension. You have to trust me.
Yeah, those motherfuckers are greedy, bro. They want to lock you up.
Absolutely. And this is the thing, too. They keep saying, well, you're going to have to trust me. No. You're going to have to trust me. Like, if you want me to trust you to represent me, you're going to have to trust that I'll give you the extension, and you're going to have to trust that in 18 months is too much. Like, stop. Most people get so excited. They just signed.
Right.
And then 3 months later, they're calling and the guy's not responding to their calls. Maybe 16 months later, they call you up and go, look, we pitched your story the other day. And you're going, who is this?
Yeah.
Oh, remember you signed the deal? Yeah, bro, I've left like 16, 20 messages. Oh, I've been real busy. For a year? It's just ridiculous, man. I mean, they're such scumbags.
It's such a
Hollywood,
joke, man. They're
right?
so fucking.
I know that's why
so fucking slimy, and they're so fucking. They're all liars, and they're all.
Remember the first time we went? We went to like the first night I did Koncrete, and we went to Waffle House.
Oh,
he was
shit.
Listen, after listening to him for 30 minutes. Hates Hollywood, hates the establishment. I'm like, I'm trying to get a true crime podcast.
This is what you're telling me.
I'm telling you this, and he's like, fuck them, man. They're scumbags. They're this. They're that. And I'm thinking, like,
I didn't say that. That was.
You were going pretty bad. Maybe not scumbags, but you were like, nah, man. Listen, you need to just do it. Forget them. Then they're gonna tell you this and tell you this. You need to do it your way. And I'm sitting there.
Well,
thinking,
you can do it. You can do it, but don't wait for them. Don't wait for them.
Right.
Do your shit, because those motherfuckers are the ones. It's so backwards. Those are the people that are on their fucking computers scouring podcasts for TV show ideas that they can sell.
Right. Well,
they can flip to Netflix.
And I should have listened to Danny that first night, because here's what happened. I was working with someone that continually kept saying, don't do anything on your own, because that could ruin the deal that I'm working on right now. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. And he was.
What dumbass told you that?
I don't want to say his name, but the point is, he knows who he is. So the point is, and we're having Zoom meetings, and we're having meetings. They're about to fly me out to L.A., and I've been out to L.A. I've met with production companies, and so things were happening, but it was always, don't do anything, don't do anything, don't do just. And I'm not even sure about the podcast. You going on that Koncrete podcast? You told your whole story. I'm like, well, there's a book out. Why would I? So I'm like, I'm trying to sell my book. I have a book.
Yeah,
snake oil salesman, man.
Right. And he's going on and on. I mean, he meant well, but I'm saying you were right. Like, the moment I started going, yeah, I'm not waiting anymore. It's just stupid. Danny was telling me, go, just start doing it. Just start doing it. I was like, no. Like, if I just started at that point, I'd be at least a year,
Ahead.
maybe a year and a half ahead of where I am right now. Instead of having like 30,000 subscribers on my channel, I'd probably have 100,000 subscribers.
Right,
I'd probably be paying all my bills and everything. But I didn't. Kept waiting because I kept waiting for like the big Hollywood deal, the big
Let me ask you
mainstream.
this. It's so easy. It's so simple to understand. Do you think Joe Rogan would have got $100 million from Shopify if he would have waited?
Yeah, no.
Right. Obviously, that's
Spotify.
like the most extreme example. That's what I said. Spotify, right?
That's a Shopify.
Yeah,
I might have
Shopify.
said Shopify.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's fine. I know what you mean.
Tomato, tomato.
So yeah, absolutely. Like, and it's funny too because whenever friends are like, I want to start a YouTube channel, I'm like, do it, just do it. Start doing it with your iPhone. Start this. I do say the same thing. Dan,
Yeah.
just do it, just do it. And they're like, yeah, but I want it to be good. I'm like, no, don't you understand?
Fuck that.
This is what you didn't tell me. Do it. And do it as good as you can, even though it's probably going to be pretty bad, because it really doesn't matter because nobody's watching.
Right.
Nobody's watching it, so don't worry about it. You got 3 subscribers, and those are 2 of them live in your house.
Yeah, yeah.
At least make a couple bucks while you practice.
Right. Just put them out there because it starts the process of getting the subscribers and getting the watch hours. So starting crappy, and then guess what? Leave them up. Because 2 years from now or 4 years from now when your channel's doing great and it's making money, you can look back on the very first videos you put out and go, oh my God,
That was terrible.
look how bad this one
Yeah.
was. And you'll laugh about it. It's better to have it out there.
Yeah, I'm so embarrassed of our first podcast. They're so fucking awful.
How
So
are they
fucking
still
awful.
up?
I'm still dumb as hell, but I was so much dumber 2 years ago. It's incredible how dumb I am.
I'm going to jump in and
It's
dispute
not that
anything.
incredible.
The moment I disagree with you,
It amazes me how dumb I am.
but
yeah, it's so true.
I want to stop you. I want to. Yeah. What's so? What do you mean on your first ones? Like you've been doing these for 3 years, right?
Almost 3 years. I think it'll be 3 years. I think this like August.
Who's the first person?
Ben.
He was the first.
The first two
podcast?
the first 2 or 3, the first like 4 podcasts were all with Ben. and we started having guests with Ben. And then
Is that the one that was like in your kitchen or something?
It was
or-
no, you want to hear
At-
something
at
crazy?
Ben's house.
Ben he bought this fucking mansion in downtown Clearwater that used to be owned by some fucking millionaire Scientologist. And the basement was an auditing room. So you know where they do, you know what auditing is in Scientology, right?
Oh, audit. Okay, yeah, definitely. I know what that is.
So
I
where
thought
they
you
do
meant
the
audit.
tests
I
and
thought you
shit.
meant they were CPAs.
No.
Like they had the CPAs.
No, it's where
working
they
out of the-
they hook you up to the electronic machine and then you tell all your fucking deepest secrets or whatever.
Right.
So it was basically like a sound
It-
studio. It was all
Oh, cool,
soundproof
cool. So
and
it's al-
everything.
It's already pretty
yeah,
pretty
it
much
was
set
already
up.
a studio.
And before it was owned by the Scientologist, it was owned by somebody that was related to the Presleys, like one of the Presley's daughters.
Lisa Marie Presley
Lisa
used
Marie
to
Presley.
live over there.
So it was her old house. So she used to have a recording studio downstairs. And then after that, it was an auditing room. And then after that, when Ben moved in, we turned it into a podcast room. So that was the first studio. So the first episode of the Koncrete podcast, we're in a fucking Scientology auditing room.
And you had a screen up, right?
No,
No.
we were just in a tiny
Not-
little
not
room
then.
with a
Not
plastic
yet.
table, man.
Okay, the one
You
with
were thinking when we're in the other room at this building.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I liked that setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we ever have you in there?
No.
No.
But I had watched it and I was like I had been watching different ones and I was like, this is a good setup here.
Oh,
and
you
it has
liked
the 4 TV
Right. Like I'd
screens.
watched Tommy, my buddy Tommy with MSCS Media.
That's the okay. Yeah. The
Total
Indian
rip-
guy.
Right, the Indian guy. He's Italian. He hates it when you say that, which is hilarious. So I say it all the time. I was like, Danny was asking about the Indian guy. He said, wait, with the Indian guy? He's like, he gets all.
Don't tell him I said that. He's gonna.
upset.
I don't want him. Don't whack me. Don't tell him not to whack me. I don't want to get whacked.
His is a total Joe Rogan ripoff. Like, I mean, he's got the Joe Rogan. Mike's
This
got
is
the
all a Joe Rogan. This is a Joe Rogan
No,
ripoff.
but he's got the. I mean, the angle. It is identical to Joe Rogan's. Like, it's horrible, bro. It's like the big wire. It's horrible. Like it's like
the big mic arm.
everything. He even got the camera. And I'm like, what? Why don't you just set it the way you like it? Well, I like the way Rogan does it. I'm like, yeah, bro, you're just. What are you doing?
You're not Rogan.
You're
bud.
not Rogan. Like, do your own thing. It's all kind of the same, but it's. Even I'm telling him, like, lower the camera angles. Why are your camera angles? Well, yeah, but that's how Rogan had it. If you look at the first, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
A lot of people.
There's no more original ideas, Matt. There's no more
Sad.
original ideas. It's
It's
true.
sad.
It's sad but
I
true.
know, it's sad.
It's all about how good you are at hiding your sources. And he is not very good at hiding his sources.
No. Oh, I've messed with him when he's on camera. I've yelled at him, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I like Joe Rogan." He's not lying about it. He's like, "What?" So
yeah, it is pretty identical, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
So is this though. I mean, all podcasts are fucking from Joe Rogan. He's the one who started it. That's what everyone's trying to do. Everyone's trying to be as successful as he is.
Right. And that's why I want to do the serial for the true crime thing.
Yeah,
I love
different.
serial.
It's super different. I love those podcasts too.
Yeah.
It's just so much work to make them. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
and
why.
It takes so much. It's like making a documentary. It's an audio documentary.
It really is. That's why I was saying with you, like, that's how I want to do it. And I can't do it on my own. I don't have the time, the equipment. That you're like, just sit down with a mic and start doing it.
And the problem with those is they're really good, but you can't put out a lot of them. So if your platform is YouTube, then it's not going to be it's not going to be as successful because
like
YouTube's all about putting out stuff every week, every day.
It's 12 a season.
Right.
That's what we're negotiating for, 12 of them.
As long as you can do that, are you going to do that alongside your normal podcast on YouTube?
Yeah,
or are they going to say shut down YouTube?
No, that's a part of we can't cover the same material, which is fine. I haven't covered any of my material.
So you can't even promote it on your podcast? Like, hey, there's a new episode coming out on this, that, and the third.
No. They would want me to do that.
This is what it's about.
No, they would want me to do that. What I can't do is I can't talk about, let's say, the chip, the thing I'm researching right now, the chip robberies. Mm-hmm. It's called The Company. It's these guys from the these Chinese triad members that start robbing computer chip manufacturers. Happened back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I can't cover that story on my personal podcast. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't cover it on their podcast. Like, what if we do 4 episodes and break it down and we do interviews and everything? And then while that happens, I turn around and go on my podcast and then start talking about the exact same thing. Then it's like, what? And I totally get that. That's perfectly understandable.
Duplicate it, yeah.
Right. Even if it's just telling the story over the course of 2 hours, they're like, because when you do it on a podcast like that, you're basically creating intellectual property, which can then be packaged.
But you got to be able to have a conversation about it. Touch on the cliff notes.
No, obviously minor, but I can't. If it's 6 hours to do, or it's 4 hours for an hour each episode for 4 episodes, I can't then sit down and tell this whole story in 2 hours on my podcast. Like if we talked about it for, it's about these guys, and if we had a 5-minute conversation or a 10-minute conversation, okay.
Yeah. Right.
But So I get that. That makes sense. I mean, they want me to do podcasts. They're saying, no, we want you to do podcasts. We want you to promote this and do all this and keep doing what you're doing, because they're like, you're slowly becoming the kind of go-to guy for true crime and for, being, cons and frauds and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Same thing with, did you see the home title lock commercial?
Yes.
Oh, I saw one the other day on TV.
Oh my God, Austin, can you pull that up, please?
I kid you not. I'm standing out front of my house with the front door open. I'm smoking, and I hear the TV's running, and I'm like, that sounds like fucking Matt Cox. I peeked my head in the door, and it was like the last couple seconds of this fucking security commercial, and I saw Matt on there, and then it clipped to some other. I said, no fucking. I tried to get a picture and send it to you before it came off.
Yeah, it's all.
I forget what I was watching.
Title lock.
I think I was watching the basketball game or something.
It
was on a popular channel.
It's on CNN.
Was it on TNT?
News. It's on. There's a 30-minute.
I think I was watching the basketball game and it came.
There's
on.
a 30-minute infomercial in the mornings on Saturdays and Sundays that they loop, for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Same thing over and over again, where they do. So it's so funny because
it was crazy.
My mom.
It was the first time I ever saw it.
The first time I saw it was with my mom. I'm eating lunch with my mom.
Yeah, this is what I saw.
I mean, breakfast with my mom.
Look at this. Hey, do you have this on the screen? All right.
Well, wait a minute. They got that wrong. They must have pulled that right off.
Look at that mug.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Keep going.
Not great. Wait, you can
Con man reveals the truth about home title fraud.
The FBI calls title and
Whoa!
mortgage fraud
God damn, that's loud. Can we make it bigger? Is this it? This must be it. Yeah, press play.
Newt Gingrich.
Newt Gingrich.
I've always believed that the real heart of America is the home. It's a sacred place for
So
your family
funny.
and your values, and it's the foundation of your retirement. That's why I want you to know the truth about home title theft. The FBI calls home title theft one of the fastest growing white-collar cyber crimes in America. I want to know why. Here's what I
Me
wrote.
too.
I was sentenced to 26 years. Look at that scoundrel.
Look at that beautiful, beautiful con man.
Wire fraud against the United States
with the beautiful hairline.
Social security fraud. Look at the old picture.
Glorious hairline.
Look at that.
Ooh.
In the Tampa Bay area. How many properties did I falsely buy or acquire in multiple names and borrow against? I mean, it's around 150.
First of all, thank you for being honest and sharing with us. How did you get into taking the houses?
Actually owned a mortgage company, and it slowly developed, and you just learned the particular skill set that it required.
And were you surprised how easy it was?
It's extremely easy.
Oh my God, this is great.
And why is that?
In order for me to take your house,
it's Newt Gingrich.
Public records, create a document.
Why is he interviewing you?
Take the deed. They had transfer it to someone else that I'm in control of, and then I can borrow against the house. Or they always have a big time guy who's their main spokesperson.
Okay.
You find out that your house has been sold. They had Rudy Giuliani for a couple years.
Really?
Yeah. They had Glenn Beck.
The owner has a huge problem.
Yeah, it's devastating.
If someone steals your home's title, you have to
listen. They don't even use they did like an hour long, maybe a 2 hour conversation with me, not between me and Newt Gingrich, but me and the producers. It was brutal. I mean, I was in rear psychopath form.
What do you mean?
I was just over the top. They're like, so do you feel bad for these people? No, I don't feel bad. I don't feel anything. I mean, I was just totally, I don't know, I was in a bad mood. I don't know what happened. I was just totally
just cold.
Psychopath,
you
cold.
Were just jacked on coffee. How much coffee had you drank?
At least 3 venti. There's 3 of these.
Holy
I walked in with one of them. It was just total.
So you were rip roaring.
Oh, it was great. It was great. And then when it was done, they were like, we'll probably use a little bit of that. I said, no, use it. Well, it was a little harsh. I said, bro, use it. I said, make me sound like a complete scumbag, scoundrel, con man, psychopath. I said, I don't care. I said, look, I'm not going for the whole, I'm reformed and I feel bad. I said, no, I'm going for the Joker. I said, so Jokerize me. I said, I don't care. I said, you're not going to make me feel bad. I go, I'm a psychopath. You can't make me feel bad. I don't feel bad. I said, so do it. Run with it. And they were like, you should have seen.
Yeah, right. Oh,
you should have seen the look on their face. They were like, and I said, do it. I said, I got no problem. I said, listen, the people that know me and like me and care about me, they already know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not looking for any new friends. So if everybody else hates my guts, that's fine.
Whatever.
Nobody's got to hunt me down and kill me. I'm good. So my point is I told them that. Then they did the commercial, and so the guy called me, the producer, and I was like, bro, he's like, did you see it? I was like, man, you didn't really. He's like, I know, some of it was really harsh. And I was like, it's fine. I said, are you concerned that, he's like, we didn't want to make you look too bad because you're kind of like a spokesperson, kind of.
Yeah.
Like you don't,
We
and
need to sell some LifeLock.
Yeah, we don't want to scare people. I was like, oh, man. So anyway, look, the commercials are doing so well. They called me back. They want me to come back and do another commercial.
Nice.
And they're supposed to be sending me right now. This was actually about a week ago we talked about. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago. They said they were going to have a meeting. He goes, and we're trying to figure out how to use you for the next 3 years on an exclusive deal.
Nice.
And I'm sitting there going, they're like, so we're going to put something together. And
here we go again.
Right, I'm thinking,
where do I sign?
Are you serious? And they're like, I mean, they wanted me to call you and make sure you're okay with them. Am I okay with it? Yeah, I'm good. Let's do this. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Run with it. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
That's amazing.
And
that
I
would
got
be fucking
people
awesome.
sending me text messages saying, bro, I was just watching Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
I was just watching CNN. I was just watching this. And suddenly I turn around, you were there.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Bro, I talk about it all the time. You are the biggest success story of this podcast. You are
For sure.
You're the one person
By
who
far.
came in here, nobody knew who the fuck you were, and you've literally taken the ball and ran with it.
I mean,
So
Forrest
far.
Gump.
and this is the thing with all, by the way, the guys.
You have created such success out of coming from nothing, coming on this podcast.
This is really for you. This is
Like,
really me. As
I'm
much
not
as it
only
is you.
I'm not talking about the amount of attention you got just from as far as podcast views on my channel.
Right.
I'm talking about what you've turned it into after that.
Oh yeah, listen. I'm going to. Okay. You're gonna love this. So I think I'm supposed to go to Chicago in a couple weeks and be on somebody's podcast. I've been like all over the place. I've been to like Ohio. I've been to California. I've been to Illinois. I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been all over the place doing podcasts and doing like I told you about, like when I went to Puerto Rico and they gave me like $1,800 to like fly into Puerto Rico and have a lunch with these guys
with
for
a couple of fucking billionaires in Puerto Rico.
Right, they just wanted to hear my story and then I leave.
So you were basically just like entertainment for the night for a couple billionaires.
And I was telling the guy, I was like, so I mean, what? Why? And they're like, well, we usually have somebody come and I saw your stuff and I sent it to the other guys and they love your stuff and we just like you to come, just have lunch. I'm like, I can't do that for free.
Yeah.
No offense, but I got to get paid.
Could you imagine they fly Matt to fucking Epstein Island just for the night? They pay him $1 million. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, he'd fucking do it. Yeah.
What? So
clip that. I want the thumbnail of that to be Matt's face with Epstein Island and Epstein's big dome house in the background.
So look, I'm going to Amsterdam.
Oh,
you know that.
Yeah.
They've watched I'm going to Amsterdam for 4 or 5 days, the end of August, to be in there's a 6-part series called The Psychology of a Con Man. And there's 6 parts. They got one guy from Asia. They've got a guy from Germany, a guy from France, a guy from the UK, guy from someplace else, like Japan or something. And guess who represents the United States of America?
Matthew Cox.
No fucking way.
Look, when I was Zooming them, and they were like, and I was like, so wait a second. So I go, so you got a guy here. I go, so are you saying that I'm representing the United States for like the top con man like that? And they were, you could see like they get scared, like they're looking like and they were like, I mean, I would have to say yes, and and I go yes I go, let's do it. And they were just like, I said, that's awesome, and they were like, oh, that is not the response we typically get. What am I supposed to say? So they're going to fly me in there. They're going to do a battery of tests. I said, so you're going to try and figure out what makes me a con man. They're like, yes, it's going to be a battery of tests. There's a psychiatrist. There's this,
really?
That.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And I'm like,
I can't wait to see that.
Sign me up. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. And they've watched all this stuff on Koncrete. So it's that. Then I'm also going to like it's the Association of Mortgage Brokers. I'm going to that. That's an Alabama Association of Mortgage Brokers. They're flying me in to do. I'm flying in, and for one day, I'm flying in. Oh shit! Sorry. Flying in the morning. 45 minutes, tell my story. 15 minutes Q&A. Jump back on the plane. Fly right back out.
Wow. What's the flight out there? It feels like a 13-hour flight.
To Alabama?
Oh no, I thought you were talking about fucking. I thought you were talking about
Alabama's like an hour.
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam's like 15 hours.
Yeah, it probably is pretty bad. It ain't.
It's worth the flight.
Yeah, I hope it's not like Spirit or something.
Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not a fucking 6-hour turnaround like that.
Listen, it's not like I've never been in a small, uncomfortable, position for 15 hours at a time or 12. Like, you put me in a small box with my hands cuffed like this, and I'd be like, I can eat a sandwich doing that. Go to the bathroom. Yeah. I can open up a little juice box. I can do everything with my hands like this.
Yeah.
True
you
crime.
Can file on I-95.
True crime has there's something about true crime. It's like blowing up in the last couple of years. Last like 2 years, I want to say.
No, it's like the last 5 or 10. It's really been getting big.
It is fucking like true crime has become one of the most popular genres right now. Not only for podcasts but for shows like Netflix.
Yeah, now they're kind of
People
getting converted into like the Netflix series. They're like converting like Dirty John, all of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Even my wife, all she watches is fucking shit about people getting raped and murdered.
Women love they like the really.
That's all my mom watches.
It's like 70%.
She's either watching the news or she's watching like the ID channel. With
I can't watch
people getting murdered.
I can't watch all that.
It's too fake. Some of the stuff on TV though is just too fake.
They're true stories.
They're true stories.
They're true stories, but the way they fantasize them and dramatize, like there's a UFO thing on History Channel about Skinwalker Ranch. And it's just the way it's produced and the way they
Skinwalker Ranch. What's Skinwalker?
There's a ranch in Utah that has all kind of paranormal phenomena that happen.
Shit.
All kind of paranormal phenomena that happens with like crazy magnets and fucking up iPhones.
It's water.
It's water. It's weird drinking water out of a can.
It is.
Right?
I mean, I don't drink beer anyway, but even when I look at it,
hold it up.
Yeah.
Hold it up
That's
and smile. Do a promo for Liquid Death. They sponsor the podcast.
What? Who is it?
It's
Liquid Death.
It's a water company. What do you think about their water?
It tastes good.
Does it taste like death?
Better than the tap. No.
Their slogan is "Murder Your Thirst."
Murder your thirst.
Look at that. They sent me a fucking giant stack of
Cases
water
of
and sparkling water.
Nice. It's good. It is good. I don't know what the sparkling water's like, but this is good.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. It's great. It's drinking water from the Alps.
Yeah, it's like drinking water,
Mountain
from
water.
a beer can that's
Death.
been washed out really good.
Anyways, the shit that's on TV shows is just it's so overproduced and dramatized and
Dramatized.
Dramatized. That's the word I was looking for. And it just makes me just like whenever something's overproduced and dramatized like that, it just makes me skeptical of it.
Yeah, it's like watching American Greed.
Yeah.
Where Matthew con man walked into the office.
Yeah.
And you say, stop.
Another single mother.
Yeah.
So
Oh fuck.
sad. What was I gonna say?
But yeah, true crime. And then women.
wait.
Women are like
Wait, wait.
are like half of
it
half
gets
of
better.
the
It
audience.
gets better. I got called. Another thing. I got called from a guy who have you ever seen oh god, it's called hold on. It's on A&E. It's called 60 Days In.
I've seen it on the scrolling through, but I've never watched it.
Okay, so I watched a couple episodes because this guy contacted me like a week or so ago. Like I
Yeah.
never check Instagram. People contact me on Instagram like I check it maybe once or twice a month, and they'll be like 30. And so as I'm going through, like accept and oh cool thanks, and giving them little responses, this one guy says, hey, if he hadn't put A&E in the name of the show, he would have got nothing.
Yeah.
Like if it was just like, hey bro, watch your stuff, you're awesome, give me a call. But instead he was like, I'm so and so from I'm Tony. His name is Tony from A&E. He has a bunch of guys have reached out. A bunch of my fans have reached out to me and said, I need to interview you. I need to contact you. I've watched your stuff on YouTube. Great stuff. Really want to talk to you about being interviewed and talk to you about A&E and blah, blah, blah. I was like, it was like a week or so ago. I was like, oh, God. So I responded. I talked to him the other day. He wants to interview me for some show for A&E. Talking about possibly trying to do some kind of a co
For the 60 Days In show?
No, for something totally different. But they're like hooked in with him now. He was basically the star of that show.
Okay.
And so he's now doing kind of like a spin-off show. And so same thing. It's so there's lots of stuff that constantly happening. It's just trying not to get hooked into that trap where you end up signing a bunch of
Right.
stuff and then nothing happens.
Get your
with it.
hopes up on it.
Right.
But
That's
imagine
the
if you didn't have a podcast, if you didn't have any sort of other thing, if you didn't have anything else going on, you'd be like, oh yeah, they want to sign you up exclusively for
course.
them, and you would have nothing else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now you have leverage when you
Right.
start putting out your own shit that you own independently. You have leverage against those people, and they know that.
Right. And it's funny too because guys always tell me, like I always get guys like, "Oh, what does Danny pay you for that? What is that?" I'm like, "Well, nothing, bro. You
I'll
you
pay
do
anybody
all
to
that,
do podcasts.
You do all that for nothing." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but you do understand." So then you have to break it down. You understand
Right.
what's happened. Like Koncrete put me on. Like I was already out and doing stuff, but I was already in a couple magazines and I was trying to. But
You were
it's
still
like,
in the halfway house when you came on the show the first time.
No, I just got out. I wouldn't do it in the halfway house. I was too
that's
scared.
right. You
I was
wouldn't do
scared.
it. You were not allowed to. You did
Super
it after.
scared. And he was even like, come. Well, first of all, I couldn't. I can't disappear for 4 hours. Like, there's no way to go across. Listen, you're so scared in the halfway house. Like, they're knocking people off.
Yeah, they're ready to
sending them
send you right back
anything.
to jail.
So, he's like, yeah, come over and this. And I'm like, I'll hold it. And then, so I got out, and then he called me. I'd been out like a month or a few weeks or something. You're like, bro, I answered your questions.
Yeah.
Because I'd asked you about
Oh yeah.
podcasts. And
Yeah.
I answered your question, said you were going to come on. You're not in the thing. I had somebody didn't show up.
Yeah. Someone rescheduled last minute.
I got nothing like in the can. I need to do something. I need you to come out. I was like, all right. So I came out. But, I explained that. I said, look, Danny put me on a course because of the podcast, put me on a course and got me exposure that I never would have gotten had I said, oh, well, you got to give me $500. You know what I'm saying? Or
Right.
you got to, and he'd have been like, screw you. I'll go just have a
Right.
conversation with anybody forget it. I'm not
Right.
going to do it. Okay. So then where would I be? I'd be pushing books on my own.
It has been said that I have had people tell me that I am the Joe Rogan of Florida.
Oh God, who the fuck gassed you up like that, bro? No.
It's been said. It's been said. It could be a fact. I'm just saying it could be a fact.
Matt, you didn't fuel that comment to his head, did you?
No.
I've had a guest come on here and say it, and I've seen at least one comment that said that. So it could be true. Who knows? Anyways, you've done great for yourself. You've really taken off. You really.
Well, I'm not making a bunch of money, but a lot of things are happening. Like something's got to hit. There's so much stuff up in the air right now. Like it's so much stuff being thrown at the wall. Something's got to stick.
For sure.
Yeah, but it's not about one thing sticking. It's about staying consistent, and that's what you're doing. You're
Right?
staying
No,
consistent.
I'm staying on it. I'm putting stuff. I'm putting up, and the interviews.
It's a
are
snowball effect, right? It's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
The first
Oh, yeah.
podcast was the spark that lit the flame.
Right.
And now it just keeps growing and growing.
And it's
growing.
it's all the it's. And I like doing the podcasts. Juan. I'm going to interview this chick that it's great. Juan's great too because he works.
Who are you talking about?
Juan Sanchez.
Okay, he's the ex-con that you just interviewed.
The guy from Venezuela, like got kidnapped in Venezuela, was laundered $39 million. He's got a great story. But just so happens he knows a chick that was a high-end madam who was bringing girls in. I'm going to say from like Brazil or something. I don't know. It was some South American country. I don't know which one. But she was bringing girls. So they can come in. Like you can come in for like 90 days to the United States.
Yeah.
Come, hang out, whatever, on vacation. So they would come in for 90 days. So this woman's getting phone calls from women in, let's say, Brazil. She's Spanish too. And they're calling her and saying, look, I can come to the United States for 90 days. I need to make some money. And she's setting, and like supermodel hot looking. And they're coming in and they're working as high-end escorts. She's, I don't want to say pimping them out. Can I say?
She is, yeah.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that in the best possible light.
She's a pimp.
She's pimping out. So she's being a madam to these women, and they're coming and they're going back
like a Ghislaine, like a Ghislaine Maxwell.
On a different level.
Yeah,
that was Epstein's girl.
Oh, was it? Oh, no.
Who was procuring the
but these are
young
adult women. These are 25
Oh,
year-olds.
they're not kids.
Oh, no. It's not like sex trafficking. Well, it is sex trafficking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, it
anyway,
is.
look. So this chick comes in. So these girls are coming in for 90 days, and then they're going back to like Venezuela or Colombia or Brazil with 50 grand. 50 grand is going back there is like going back there with like $400,000. Right.
Yeah.
It's a huge amount of money. You can buy a condo and still have years worth of income left. So they're going back there with, and so then those girls go back there. They tell this person, this girl. Next thing you know, she's just running them left and right. And he sent me her indictment. I read her indictment. I read her stipulation of facts. I'm like, counts with 400,000, accounts with 100,000, 200,000. This girl got paid 80,000. This girl got 60,000. This girl got. I mean, these chicks are coming in and they're just lining them up. I was like, this chick's probably got a pretty good story. This is a pretty interesting story. She did this for years. So she's coming in. I'm going to do her on my podcast on Wednesday, next Wednesday. Juan's going to come back. Juan's going to do Koncrete, which will be better than mine because.
And you're going to be here too?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll be, whatever you guys decide.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be able to do a better podcast. Like, I just sat there and thought he was just going to tell his story. Like, I didn't interview him, really. Does that make sense? Because I'd heard him say his story so many times, I thought he was going to just roll it on out.
Yeah.
But he's like, I haven't told anybody that story in, like.
When did he tell you that
years
story?
and
In
years,
prison?
In prison 7 or 8 years
Right.
ago.
Okay.
So he went, to keep in mind, he left, he went to an ICE facility. So he had a whole thing after we met. So he hasn't been telling that story. So he was like, yeah. So here's what I did. So he threw out some stuff, and I was like, whoa. I kept having to go, whoa. What about this? And he was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, so what happened? And then he'd tell that story, and I go, whoa. What about the story about how you got the money to pay for your attorney? That is a good story. Yeah, that's good. Let me tell that. And it's like, it wasn't as good. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I felt like it wasn't good. Colby, my video editor, he was like, bro, that was amazing. It was a great story. It was great. I was like, but I had an anticipation of what it was in my mind.
Right, yeah, it was different.
Man, you know what would be great for the prison industrial complex is if the people who own the prisons, they set up in the prison cells, they set up podcasts. So everyone in prison could have their own podcast, their own YouTube show. And the prisons could make so much fucking money by pimping out these prisoners to have a true crime podcast.
That's not
Imagine it. Imagine how much money they could
You're
have.
not selling it.
Fucking arrest them all. Fill those prisons up. Now we can have more podcasts, make more podcast money. We can have deals with Spotify.
Jesus.
The prison
that escalated quickly.
I was going to say, first of all, they're already filled up.
Yeah.
They're already filled up.
They're filled.
You really just need to bring in a mic.
So, okay, prison owners, if you want to make more money, do deals with Spotify. Fill the prison cells with microphones and set up podcasts with the prisoners. That way they can have their podcasts in prison, and the prisons can do Spotify deals directly, and it'll be fucking hands over fist, millions.
Never happened. Never happened in the federal system. They won't let a camera.
Sure it will.
They won't let a camera in. They won't let you come in and video an inmate in prison. Not since was it Diane Sawyer did it, or was it Barbara Walters did? She did one for 60 Minutes, and it was called Club Fed, where they actually went into a prison, a camp, and showed the facility and how nice the facility was, and people went nuts. Like, because they're showing guys playing tennis, they're showing guys doing fishing, they're doing this, they're doing that, and they're like, oh, and she's like, she's going, oh, what'd you have for dinner? He's like, we had this, and he's like, oh, we had like, he's saying all these things that sound good, and so they immediately after that whole thing, they went in and they said the federal Bureau of Prisons said, we're never letting another camera in. Because they made us look like fools, and we're taking away this and this. They literally are paving over all the stuff. They're tearing up everything. They just took everything away.
Yeah, but who cares anymore? Who cares anymore? Everybody knows. Everybody talks about it. Everybody knows all the fucking crazy shit that goes on in prisons.
But they were portraying
they were
portraying
that
nice.
it was Club Fed. They were saying it was like Club
nice.
Med.
It was too nice. Right. But
so
who
they
cares?
went in.
But who cares?
Well, it's too late. You don't have to care now because it's not now.
Right.
Now it's a state.
So that's
practically a state.
Exactly.
Facility.
So let the cameras in now. Give them podcasts.
I think you should take that on. But having dealt with the bureaucracy of the federal prison system, I can tell you it's never going to happen.
I think it's time for the federal prison system to give in to the entertainment
I think so
industry.
too. And look, as feeble as Biden is, you could probably fool him into signing something. But yeah,
true crime is profitable.
It is. But
who's the head of the BOP right now? We need to get him on here.
No idea. That'd be great. He'd probably.
Can you find out who the head of the Bureau of Prisons is? We need to reach out to him immediately and get him on here.
Do you remember when I told you about the time that I came up with that newsletter about the Puerto Ricans? How I said Trump
the
was
fake newsletter.
Right,
Oh yeah.
Juan and I talked about that.
Oh, did
we
you
laughed
really?
because Juan was one of the guys who came up to me. He's like, Matt. He was like, have you heard anything about this thing Trump signed and they're sending the Puerto Ricans back to Puerto Rico? And I said, okay, bro, I'm going to tell you something. And I told him it was me.
Michael Carvajal, the director of the BOP, as of 2020. So he's the guy who is the new director after Epstein suicided himself. the old BOP guy got canned.
He got canned?
After Epstein.
Damn.
So we need to get Michael. Whoa, maybe we probably have a better chance of getting the old director
guy,
of the
yeah.
BOP.
Can
on
you
here.
imagine? Like this guy sitting there like, well,
Has nothing to do with
nothing
it.
to do with
It's all
this.
about optics. It's all about optics, Matt.
Fire him. What? Fire me? What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah. Somebody's got to step down.
I wasn't sleeping at the stand. I didn't break the camera. Like I was here.
I don't even work
5
there.
states away. I've never even seen that.
Right.
That
He's
facility.
probably never been there.
There's 1,300 facilities. I've never even been there.
Yeah.
You're fired. It's like, why? Because it'll look good for us. We're trying to clear us.
Everything's about optics. It's all that matters. It's all that matters is what it looks like to the public.
What are you going to put there for the couch?
I got a new couch.
Show 'em
coming.
a picture
The
of the new
couch is
couch.
gone.
How? Why? What's the new couch? Where'd you get it? Garage sale? What's happening?
No, I bought it online. I bought it on
Is it
the
nice?
internet. It's nice.
I don't know if you would call it nice.
I don't want to spoil the surprise, but it's a very nice,
It's a vintagey couch for
vintage blue velvet couch, Matt Cox.
sure. You're going to hate it.
You're gonna absolutely
For
fucking
sure.
hate it.
I'm begging you to rethink this.
Why?
Look, this is nice. This is nice. The
You like
the
do you
bookshelf.
like the drawings of the fishermen with the butts and the heart? See the noose with the beach
did
in the
not
middle of
even
it?
notice that was
Can
a
you go
butt.
grab that for me real quick? We got to show that.
I mean, I'm wearing the head.
That's
I got
right.
the headphones.
Look at this. What do you think? Let's analyze this art piece right here. Look at this.
With your arts degree.
What is your arts degree opinion on this artwork? We got a noose with a beach in the background. We got the Florida with the 666, and we got the fisherman's asshole with the heart around it.
Where's the fisherman's?
Right here.
Okay. I mean, what? I mean, I think it's drawn well.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take
Why?
that. I'll
Who
buy
did
that.
Why?
Luke did that.
Luke. Okay. Yeah, I figured Luke did it.
hand drawn?
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's all disturbing, but
Luke's an artist.
I know. I heard that.
He has a degree.
I know he does.
He has an arts degree.
I
Liberal.
know. I've
What's the
never.
difference-
I
Hey,
don't
what's
mean
the
that
difference-
mean. I've never seen anything he's done
Hey,
except for this.
I meant to ask you this. What's the difference between a fine arts degree and a liberal arts degree? What's a liberal arts degree?
I don't.
You really don't know?
No, I don't know.
Really?
Is that what your mom has?
My mom has a master's degree in fine art.
Fine art.
Master's degree. What is your degree?
I mean, it's just a BA.
A bachelor's. So you
Yeah.
only did 4 years. My mom did 8 years.
Wow.
Fucking master's. That just means that she has less money than you. The
Very-
National Association of Schools of Art and Design, NASAD, which accredits bachelors of fine arts programs in visual arts and design in the United States, states that the professional degree BFA focuses on intensive work in the visual arts supported by programs of genital studies, whereas liberal arts genital or general.
General.
Liberal arts degrees focus on art and design. I don't understand.
Liberal. Is there a conservative? Is there a conservative arts degree?
I don't think
I went
A
to a coffee.
Republican?
I went to a coffee shop today. So there's this coffee shop that's in Pinellas Park. That's called Conservative Grounds.
Right. You did a.
I did a video on
a doc. Was it a little documentary on it?
Yeah, I
right?
did a little expose on it. Yeah, I did a little fine arts piece on it, and it's basically all Trump supporters. It's heavily support back the blue, make America great again coffee shop. It's a make America great. It's a MAGA coffee shop, and there's a replica of the Oval Office with a statue of Melania and Trump in there, and
With the desk and everything.
it's fucking great. And I don't really go to coffee shops that much. If I want coffee, I get like McDonald's coffee or I make it at home.
Right.
And I went to a coffee shop today. Like I actually Googled what's a good coffee shop around here, and there was a really decent coffee shop with great Google reviews, fucking 5 stars all the way, right down the street. And I just fuck it, I'm gonna go there and see if I can get some, cafe con leche. So I go over there, and it's just like complete polar opposite of Conservative Grounds. Conservative Grounds is the last coffee shop I've been to. And it's just like this girl, she's got like pink hair, bowl cut, total lesbo. And she's just like, hi, how are you today? What can I get you? If you have any questions about the menu, please just don't hesitate to ask. And I'm just like, wow. Just the fucking crazy,
I wish they
radical,
were right next to each other.
radical
How awesome would that
fucking
be?
difference in the coffee shops. It's fucking insane. It's just like, I didn't even want to be there. Like I would rather be at some fucking gunslinging country coffee shop than have this fucking get
I
served coffee.
believe that.
But the coffee was great. I'm not gonna sleep on the coffee. And it
Who
was
had the better coffee? That's the question.
the liberal the liberal coffee shop was
Because
better.
they put some love into that coffee.
They put some love into it. There was definitely some very artistic care. She had loving hands when she made the coffee, and there were some kids in the corners doing working in Photoshop. Doing their Photoshop work and sending some emails in the corner, and it was quiet and it was very nice ambiance.
Yeah.
But it was just, I don't know, something about it just made me kind of like sneer at it. You know what I mean? Just because it was so over the top, like artsy fartsy coffee shop, And I haven't been to a coffee shop in so long. The last coffee shop I've been to was Conservative Grounds. So I guess that was the reason I was so shocked by it.
You don't ever go into Starbucks or
No, never. I mean, I've driven through
The drive-through.
I've been
Yeah.
through the drive-through.
Yeah.
But I'd never go into Starbucks now.
A lot of times I'll go, like if the line's too long, I'll pull in and just walk in.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go in more, obviously, before the pandemic. I would go in and sit down and drink coffee and whatever, answer emails on my phone or whatever.
But it's so like that's the normal thing though for coffee shops to be like that. The coffee shop I went to today.
I think so. It's a place to kind of hang out and
why aren't there more conservative coffee shops? I wonder.
I mean, I think that
Do conservatives not like coffee?
No, I'm sure. Sure, they're drinking the hell out of coffee.
Right.
He's drinking it at home, and they don't have time to hang out.
They don't like to sit at
They
coffee
have
shop.
jobs.
They're too busy making money.
They have jobs.
That's why. That's what it is.
They're too busy making America great again.
No, that's why it is. The conservative people, they have jobs. They're making a living, and the people that are at the liberal coffee shops that I went to today, they're living off welfare, right?
Damn.
I did not say that.
I'm canceled. I've had too much whiskey.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't even funny. I was just trying to be funny. But anyways, I thought it was a funny take. But the coffee was fucking great. The girl was super nice. She was a very sweet girl. Yeah. She was very, affectionate and loving when she made my coffee. I'll go back. We'll go back there for sure. And I was wearing a Marilyn Manson t-shirt, and she did not like that. She made a comment about my Marilyn Manson shirt. She's like, "Oh, Marilyn Manson shirt, huh?" I know, because he's been canceled. You know that? You didn't know? You know who Marilyn Manson is?
He's a singer.
Yeah. And he got called out. He got called out by one of his ex-girlfriends, saying that he was abusive in the relationship.
He's been canceled, meaning what?
Do you know what cancel culture is?
Oh, so now they basically. It's
you know what Me Too is?
Yeah, but it's I was gonna say it's like what do they call that? Where you suddenly everybody decides they're not gonna go to Target. What do they call it when you
Yeah. When you try to cancel, when you say that they've done something wrong.
Yeah, but there's another name for it that you would typically use. It's where you're against that Target and you're not going to go there anymore. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do they call that?
It's called cancel culture.
Well, that's what you're calling it because that's the thing they call it now. But it's like you're boycotting. Thank you.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like you're
boycotting.
Yeah. So it's like you're boycotted. Okay.
Right. So Marilyn Manson's being boycotted right now or canceled because one of his ex-girlfriends said that he was abusive in their sexual life.
I love that any woman that says anything, you have to automatically believe anything she says.
Yes, exactly.
You're fucked if you don't.
Right.
I think a couple other women piled on after her. So, they always pile on, right?
Right. Yeah, like Cosby. So you
like
raped,
Cosby, exactly.
You raped 50 women over the course of 30 years. None of them ever came forward.
I thought it was hundreds with Cosby.
Yeah, I think it's like 50 something, like whatever. But it could be more. But I'm saying, that you did this for the last 30 years, this is what you've done, and none of them came forward until one woman said something, then they all rushed in.
Right.
I was at a party with him in 1979. Mm-hmm. He drugged and raped me too. Really? I mean, that, So
how long did Cosby? How long was Cosby in prison for? He just got out, but how long was he in for? Do you know?
I don't know, 4 or 5 years, right? No. Was it 3 or 4 years? About 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think it was right around 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So do you know the actual like the story behind his case right now? It was a civil case or a criminal case. It wasn't criminal, right? It was civil.
Well, I mean, he was locked up in prison.
It started civil. It started civil where basically this woman was suing him, and he decided he was going to settle the lawsuit. And they settled because she said, "Look, you gave me whatever it was, LSD, or you gave me something, Quaaludes." It was
Quaaludes, yeah.
Quaaludes, and which kills me because when they say it like this, we were at a party, he drugged me, he raped me.
Yeah.
So, his version, of course, is we were at a party, I was taking Quaaludes, I asked her if she wanted some, she took some. We ended up, 30, 45 minutes later, we ended up having sex.
Right.
So it's no different than we were at a party. I was taking some Xanax. The chick I was with said, "Hey, you got any for me?" And I said, "Absolutely. Here, have one." 45 minutes, we ended up having sex in my car. You drugged and raped her. Mm-hmm. Like, no different than I was having a couple of drinks. I said, "Hey, you want a drink?" Sure.
Right.
She had a couple drinks.
Shots at the bar.
We ended up having sex in the parking lot. Guess what? You drugged and raped her. I mean, it's like that progression. So he ends up for the purposes of the civil suit, he says, they said, did you drug her? He said, yes, I gave her the Quaaludes. We had sex. I didn't rape her. I did this. I did drug her. I did have sex with her. I did this. I did that. And I'll say all this, provided you're never going to be able to use this. It's never, right. Of course. Then, of course, she gets the settlement. Everything goes through. Boom. Let's put it out there. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that against you to file criminal charges, and we're going to charge you, and you're going to go to prison. And then all these other women say, you know what?
Time to get paid.
I was at a party with this guy 20 years ago. He raped me too. And suddenly everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Next thing you know, this guy's apparently been raping people, every few weeks for the last 30 or 40 years, and he's 80-something years old, and he ends up going to prison. And then, of course, the judge finally looks at it and says, well, wait a second, you can't use this. But on top of that, he's admitting to something for the purposes of a lawsuit.
For a civil
lawsuit.
Right.
Like, he's not, like...
Civil lawsuits are all about money. They're all about getting a settlement.
Right.
A criminal lawsuit is actually for prison time.
Right, because that's the way you make it right. Like you and I get into an argument or something, and you cost me money somehow, you get me fired from my job, you do whatever, you slander me somehow, and I get fired, and I lose my house, and I turn around and I sue you, and then I prove that that's true, that what you said was a lie, and you got me fired, and I ended up losing my house. I had to start over. Well, guess what? Now you owe me money, and that's how you do it, because I can't come over and club you, and I can't throw you in prison.
Right.
Because it's civil. It's not, what you did was wrong, but it's not illegal. So, you handle it civilly, and that's what they handled it civilly. We handled this civilly because we have a difference of opinion. You're saying I drugged and raped you. I'm saying we were at a party and we both got fucked up and we had sex.
Yeah.
It's a difference of opinion, but obviously I'm Bill Cosby. I don't want this to go any further. I'm an 80-year-old man. I'm going to give you a couple $1 million. That's nothing to me.
Yeah.
But then it suddenly hits the media. Everybody jumps on board. He ends up going to prison. But a reasonable judge looks at it and says, no. He would have said, I flew in on a UFO.
On a magic carpet.
Yeah, exactly.
UFO.
Yeah, I flew in a UFO and I beamed you up and I would have said anything for the purposes of the lawsuit just to get rid of it. Like, you can't take that, because he's saying that's not what happened. Well, you said it on film. What are you talking about? I said, of course I did. It was civil and I was never going to use it. It doesn't matter what I say.
I'm trying to get the fuck out of here.
I'm trying to get this done with. I'm an old man. I'm dying. I'm going to be dead soon, for God's sake. And I'm worth $100 million. Of course I'm going to pay.
Civil lawsuits are all about who's got the more money to spend on a lawyer, right? That's at the end of the day. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Who's going to take it the farthest? Who's going to fucking?
Sometimes it's about, look.
Somebody's always trying to get money.
You have more leverage if you have more money. Whoever has more money has more leverage. They can hire more. If you're just wrong, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're wrong. It's hard to be on an even playing field when one person's broke and the other one has 60 lawyers on their payroll and they're worth $1 trillion.
Right.
So it's hard for me to sue Amazon.
Right. But if that person who has the 60 lawyers is also a celebrity with a reputation to uphold, then
it's even worse.
The smaller person then they have leverage. Then the smaller guy has leverage because they can put their story out there and create a media
like the
fiasco.
It's like the guy with Nike, the guy that just is going to go 2.5 years. Got the guy that was Stormy Weathers' old attorney.
Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Weathers. Did I say?
Said Weathers.
Stormy Weathers. Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels' old attorney. Which is Avante? Something Avante? What's his name?
Aponte?
No. Aponte. No. Avante. The guy he was with he was Stormy Daniels.
I don't know who.
Stormy Daniels' old lawyer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, he went to Nike and Michael Avante. He went to Nike.
How do I not know this story?
I don't know. He went to Nike and said, "Look, I've got clients that are sports guys, that are sport kids that were in sports and that are gonna say that you guys offered to pay him or pay them, and I'm gonna help. Like, they got him on tape saying he's saying I want $25 million, or your company's gonna take a $10 billion.
They were paying kids what?
that they were either paying kids or I forget the exact thing, but basically he was going to smear. He was ready
paying
to do
kids to do what? Make their shoes?
To wear their shoes, to wear their products.
A federal judge on Thursday sentenced celebrity lawyer turned criminal defendant Michael Avanti to 30 months in prison for attempting to extort millions of dollars from Nike. Wow. He rose to fame as Stormy Daniels' lawyer and was convicted in February 2020. That was more than a year ago, bro. Of 3 counts for threatening to publicly accuse the sportswear company of illicitly paying amateur basketball players unless Nike paid him.
Right.
Wow.
So his whole thing was like, if I do this, it's going to cost you guys. Your company will take a $10 billion nosedive.
Yeah.
Like your stock will this, and so I want $25 million. And
so
they immediately called the FBI.
Yeah.
And
no shit.
Recorded him and everything, and then boom, now he's doing 2.5 years.
Fucking dummy.
What a dumbass.
Already rich, already got a bunch of money.
Trying to extort
Just
Nike.
a greedy fucking scumbag.
Right. So I'm saying that his leverage over Nike, because typically I'll bet you'd be shocked how many big corporations actually do pay out just to get rid of like nuisance suits, like little suits. Like we don't want this in the, we don't want to be associated with this or whatever. I mean, how many
He probably
times?
asked for too much. He should have shot the number about half of what he shot it at. He might have got
Or he should have should have made the number way higher.
Well, I'm wondering what.
They're calling the FBI after a certain amount.
Yeah. I'm wondering exactly like
how much.
Well, I'll tell you what. They probably felt like he was pretty over the top, and we could definitely prove this. And this will send a message to anybody else
who
that
wants
tries
to try this. Yeah,
like it's worth going to this. And he was probably being so overt about it. Like they're like this dumbass is bound to say something wrong on tape. Like we can easily get this guy. He's not doing it like in the guise of the law. He's basically like extorting them.
Right.
And he says on it, he's like, what? He says something like, they said something about, well, what about this, $1 million? Because $1 million, that doesn't do anything for me. He said, listen, he said, I'll come out with, I'll line up 10 guys there, 10 whatever basketball players that'll all say this. He said 10. He said, and he goes, and he says something like your stock will take a $10 million or $10 billion hit. Yeah. He said, okay. He said, so stop fucking around with me. I mean, he's talking, he's cussing, this is with a bunch of lawyers.
He's probably in his office fucking taking shots of whiskey, doing lines.
Right. So they're probably sitting there. The lawyers who were wired up are like, that was beautiful.
That was perfect.
Did you hear what he did?
God damn it.
What an idiot.
Clip it.
Like, how perfect is that?
Somebody clip that.
So, yeah. But, yeah.
So, Bill Cosby, going back to Bill Cosby, his lawyer that he used was one of Trump's lawyers. He was one of the lawyers Trump used for his impeachment trial. Right?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, Trump lawyer. Oh, look at how quick that was, Austin. Fuck.
Damn.
Trump lawyer Bruce Castor plays a central role in the Bill Cosby going free. Look at Bill.
That's not Bill.
Yeah, it is. That's fucking Bill.
It's a fucking white guy.
No, that's his lawyer. That's Bill's lawyer, Bruce. That's what I said, Bruce.
You said, look at Bill.
Look at Bill.
I said, look at Bruce. Run it
You're
back.
all fucked up today,
Run it
bro.
back, bud.
Your words are all jumbled up.
Run it back, pal. Lawyer Bruce Castor has now gotten 2 extremely high-profile Americans off this year in a much-watched legal proceeding. First came President Donald Trump. Now comes Bill Cosby. That's crazy. So what is the reason? So Bill, when he went to prison for a few years for this case, basically the judge who looked at this said, you can't take this evidence. You can't take the shit that went down in the civil lawsuit. You can't take it to a federal. You can't take it to a criminal. Transfer it into a criminal lawsuit. So it goes against the rules, right?
Well, I mean, he was just. He's saying that it's different. First of all,
you weren't
allowed to use it.
We
all agree this cannot be used. You cannot. This is for the sole purposes of this trial. Blah blah blah. And then they end up and give it to the.
So obviously, rape is a very bad thing. It's not good to rape people.
Yeah.
Especially when
we can agree.
You got hundreds of people. You got hundreds of women saying that you raped them, right? Like you should be in fucking prison if you're raping hundreds of people.
Right.
But what he's saying is,
there's also statute of limitations. You know what I'm saying? So the statute of limitations on almost all of them was up. Almost all of them. But I love that it's all up, but they all get to come in when you're sentenced. They all get to line up and talk.
Yeah.
Okay, well, wait a second. Her statute of limitations, I didn't rape her. She said you did. We're going to let that stand.
Let her
What?
come up, right.
So they get to go in and say, in 19...
So are they saying they fucked up by, like, it was fucked up? They should not have locked him up?
Yeah. What they did was they said this evidence could not have been used. And as a result of that, I'm throwing it out with prejudice. So you can't use it. You can't bring it back. And I'm dismissing the charges with prejudice. You cannot recharge him. So the state can't come in and say, oh, we're going to charge him again and without the evidence. No, the judge is saying, one, you're not using it again. Two, you're not charging him again.
Yeah.
He's go home.
So here's the thing. What were you going to say?
So you don't think the whole time he's going through his trial or whatever, him and his lawyers have to know, like, you can't be using this evidence, right?
But it's always subject. I mean, it's always subjective. Like, and look, there's stuff where it's clearly you cannot use this evidence.
Right.
And the U.S. attorney will argue it, Your Honor, but this and this. And sometimes the judge will go, well, I'm going to allow it. And what are you talking about? Like, the defense will say, well, statute such and such says, I disagree. And they'll, knowing that you understand that this will be appealed. And it'll be thrown out, and the whole thing will be thrown out. But the judges know, and the U.S. attorneys know. They're like, yeah, I know, but think about it. It's the trial's this long. By the time he gets to prison, by the time he appeals it, by the time he does this, it's 2 years. Then even if he gets a new trial, which is probably pretty good, it's going to be 6 months before we have to be to trial. We'll delay it as much as we can. We'll get another 3 years. He'll do 3 years before he gets back in front of a jury, and he's already lost once. So we can probably negotiate with him during that period of time to say, look, immediate release, but you have to plead guilty. And most guys, even if they're innocent,
just going to say, all right,
fine, just let me out. Like I'll be a felon. I don't care. Just let me out. Like now it's 3 years, you're traumatized. And you see how the system works, and you realize how stacked against you it is. So you realize right away, look, I'll do anything just to escape the situation. Like, I've got 20 years, and you're going to let me out after 3. I'll take it,
cool,
even though I haven't done anything. Most of the time when they do stuff like the Innocence Project comes in and stuff, and they'll say, look, turns out that all this evidence that you have against this guy, you said this is his blood. You said this is his fingerprints. You said this. You said, guess what? Not his blood, not this, not that. Most of the time, the states will come in and say, we're going to retry him. What are you talking about? Your main evidence was the blood, was the semen. It's not his. It's 100%. We actually have another person that it may be that died in prison 2 years ago. What are you talking about? And they're like, no, we're going to retry him.
We'll try it again.
Because they're like, look, first of all, the guy's, he's been locked up 10 years. He knows how bad it is. He knows the chance that he got this over.
Innocent.
Yeah, what? He's innocent. He's in prison. And the chance, he knows that this was a fluke. So he knows if we retry him, there's a chance
he's going back.
He might still get found guilty. And we're going to use that to try and get him to plead guilty so that he can't sue us for what we did to him.
Right.
And most guys will say,
yeah,
okay, I'll take it. Like, wait, you didn't rape her. You didn't rape and murder that woman. You didn't do this. You didn't do any of this. It's all 100% true. We can prove it now. You're still ready to sign something and walk away. Why? Because I thought I was going to die in prison, and I'm just desperate to just get out.
Right, you just want to get the fuck out.
Right, for all I know, I could be killed in here before I walk out of here.
Right.
Especially now that people have seen me on the news and they know I'm getting out. A lot of jealousy in prison. People will attack you for no reason. A lot of guys won't tell people when they're getting out. Like, a lot of guys will be like, look, don't go around like the last month or two saying, yeah, man, I'm out of here in a month. I'm out of here in a month. Because a lot of these guys aren't getting out for 10 years. Some of these guys are going to die in here. And you're walking around saying that, there's a lot of people that are bipolar. They'll flip out on you and attack you. So don't say nothing. So, you don't know what's going to happen. These guys are signing just to walk out the door. Of course, once they're outside, they turn around and they're like, I should have sued. I should have this. I shouldn't have signed that paper. I shouldn't.
Right.
But you were under such duress.
Right.
Plus, wasn't part of the argument that he's fucking 80 years old? Like, letting this guy out, even if he's a rapist, he's nothing to worry about. He's a fucking 80-year-old.
He's not a risk. He's not a risk.
He's not like a fucking 30-year-old guy who's a serial rapist.
Plus, these women aren't saying that he beat me. He beat me, bound me, threw me in the trunk of his car, drove me out in the woods, raped me, and left me for dead. They're saying, hey, he slipped me a Mickey, and next thing you know, he looked good, and he's famous and rich, so I had sex with him. They're not saying he beat on me and held me down, and my eyes were black and blue, and I broke my nose, and
Right. You think he knew he was going to get out on that technicality?
No.
No?
I mean, I think that, look, I think at his level, your lawyers are always kind of telling you, we can do this and we can do this. We got a good chance. We got, like, they're trying, and they can keep trying. They will keep trying because they're getting paid to try. So they're doing that. And in his mind, maybe he never really accepted it. But I've known a lot of rich guys that 100% were positive they were not going to be found guilty.
Yeah.
And then when they were found guilty, like after a year or two, like they think, oh, well, they're going to get it turned over. They're going to let me back out on bond. Then they find out you're not getting bond. Well, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to have to start the prison sentence, and we'll do this. We're going to do it as quickly as possible. How quickly?
Right, yeah.
Like, how long am I going to be? You tell me I have to turn myself in? Yeah. For a 20-year sentence? Or they take them right then.
Yeah.
Not guilty, or, boom, guilty, and they're like, okay. Next thing you know, they're handcuffing them. They're going, well, what's going on? What's going on? Because their lawyers were telling them the whole time,
right?
Oh, don't worry, it's not guilty, not guilty. Didn't even tell them that, by the way, if it's guilty, you're going in. Yeah. Like, didn't even work out a deal with the prosecutor. Like, look, if it is guilty, can you please recommend that we let him turn himself in? Like, because normally they'll say no. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they might say yes, but it's like no. I knew this guy. His first name was Bradley. Last name was Bradley. Listen. Bradley, after a few years, he was just devastated. I think he did like 10 years on like a 25-year sentence or something. And he just, it was just a brutal sentence that he got. And he eventually got it overturned. But I mean, literally, it took like 10 or 11 years before he got it overturned. His father served almost his entire sentence. His father got like 15 years or something, literally was getting out by the time they won the appeal. I mean, that's how long they can drag it out. Donovan Davis, he's been locked up about hold on. He's been locked up 5, almost 6 years. He's at a camp right now. I mean, this guy's 6 years on a 17-year sentence, and he's been fighting the entire time. Think about it, 6 years.
Completely innocent.
Right, and absolutely, he hasn't even moved on. This is his appeals, and
this is a guy who has concrete evidence proving his innocence, right?
Oh, and it's getting worse all the time. Yeah, absolutely. It has concrete evidence. It's getting worse all the time. Yeah, I can't. There's other stuff going on. I'm not even going to mention on the pod. I'll tell you later.
Like new stuff?
Yeah, like you wouldn't believe the stuff that's happening.
Like corrupt criminal justice.
Don't get a shadow banned.
Yeah, like no, not like that. Not like that. Just in general, like other things that are people, witnesses. Like there's this one guy. Do you remember the guy I referred to as Evil Gru? He was one of the guys that was saying that Donovan had lied and Donovan had stolen his money and convinced him to give all this money and this and that and this and that. But really, that was one of the guys who had brought in a bunch of investors. So let's say I forget his name, but basically Evil Gru said he goes to all of his friends and says, give me money, and we need to all invest money in Capital Blue. So they all invest money. Well, then of course when it all collapses, he's put on the stand. He says Donovan is the one that came to all of us. Well, all these guys are actually like, Donovan didn't come to us. You came to us.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of their money. So what ended up happening was this guy actually was running a Ponzi scheme himself. He's been reindicted for stealing money from people. He actually was raising money to get a kickback from Capital Blue to get these guys to invest his money. Like there's and then when he got on the stand, he blatantly lied about all kinds of stuff. So that guy, that's a whole thing. Something Avendetti or Romandetti. His name's Romandetti. Chris Romandetti. He's right now he's indicted. He's waiting to go to trial. So there's all these other things that are happening. There's a couple other things I can't even tell you, bro. But it's like when I tell you what's happening, you're gonna be like, whoa, good stuff. Anyway, but yeah. Let's listen. It's all messed up. Look, but 6 years. You've been fighting for 6 years. You're not even through the process.
Yeah.
He hasn't even lost. He just lost his appeal. Like for a new trial, his appeal and for a new trial, he just lost. Now he's able to fight his what's called your 2255. You're able to say that basically my lawyers were ineffective, and he's got a great case for his lawyers being ineffective. So, but that's another 3-year process.
Right.
He'll spend 10 years before
fighting
before he's exhausted his legal remedies. 10 years before. And by the way,
is he still paying these lawyers with his own money?
Yeah, he's still paying. These aren't the same lawyers. He fired them right away. I mean, keep in mind, one of his lawyers.
Meanwhile, he's got a wife and kids that are
he's got a wife and
living in Orlando that are fucking agonizing over this process the whole time.
Yeah, is Christy Davis. I talk to her all the time. I texted her a couple days ago, just on new events that are happening in his case.
That's fucked up.
Look at Pete. Pete's been fighting his case for 20 years. 20 years.
Who's Pete again?
Pete Rossini.
Rossini, from the Breaking Bad story.
Yeah, they've been dragged. Like they could. So we
did a whole podcast on Pete.
Yeah,
it's called. I believe it's if you search for it on YouTube, it's called Matthew Cox, the Breaking Bad case or something like that.
I thought it was like the real Breaking Bad.
The real Breaking Bad case.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fucking crazy ass story.
Yeah, that one's got like
with the dirty
300,000, 400,000.
Yeah, that podcast went crazy.
It's got a lot.
He with the dirty FBI agents and the whole thing. But I mean, look at Pete. Like literally, think about it. The whole thing for the U.S. attorneys, they're like, it doesn't really matter how I get the conviction because once I've got you convicted, and I can drag it out 10 years while you're trying to unravel this whole thing. What if your sentence is 10 years?
Right.
Fight it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fight it. You'll be fighting it when you're in the halfway house and when you're home starting your life over again. You'll still be, I can drag it out that long. You'll serve your whole sentence and you'll still be fighting it. But let's face it, most people, when they're basically done, they're not fighting anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the legal bills. My lawyers all quit. I'm broke. None of my friends or family will let me borrow money from them anymore. I'm basically doing all the legal work myself. And now I'm in the halfway house and I have to work my job at McDonald's and try and find an apartment. Do I need to keep fighting this? It's over. It's over. I'm going to lose. I've lost. Even though I feel I'm innocent and I've done nothing wrong, fuck it. They're done. They got me. They beat you.
Can't blame them.
Right. I mean, that's it. So they're like, I'm out. I just want to go on with my life, reconnect with my, 3 daughters, and hopefully my ex-wife will let me see my 14-year-old, or you know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. Like, I mean, that's it. They're just devastated.
How are you doing with all your stuff, with your probation officer and with your paying off your restitution and dealing with everything after the fact?
I love the way you're saying paying off. It's $6 million.
Yeah, you owe that $6 million, Matt.
Making payments.
Matt, you owe that $6 million to the government that you stole from the government.
I don't owe it to the government, by the way. And
to the banks.
Yeah,
the institutions.
Like 85% of those banks have all gone under. So really, the money that I'm paying in it is going to the government. Like
the good people.
They'll just keep it.
Stole the $6 million that you stole from the good people.
He owes this to AmeriQuest, but they're insolvent and they went into bankruptcy. Should we give it back to Mr. Cox?
Hey, Matt Cox paid $20 this month. AmeriCorps isn't around anymore. You could keep it this week, Don.
Last month I paid like $420 or something, like $420.
Ooh.
Oh, listen, some of my payments are like $800, $400, $600. Some are like, listen, here's the thing, like when COVID hit and I'm like dead broke and I'm on unemployment, and unemployment of course is only paying like $600. Like I'm not making anything. You have to pay your $150. What are you talking about? I got to pay my $150. I made $600 on unemployment. $150, Mr. Cox, or you're going back to prison.
What do you do?
I can't even eat for what's left over.
Yeah.
$150.
$150 fuck off.
Thank God I was living at my friend Stacy's house, and she was just cooking me meals every day. Like, I mean, listen, she didn't.
Well, you shouldn't have ripped off those innocent bank executives.
Oh my God. Oh, did I tell you this? So the documentary that the one in Amsterdam. So the guy sitting there is like, okay, we need to be able to talk to other people. So can you give us some other names that you're still in contact? Like, hey, this guy. So I'm giving them names of people, right? Like this person. They're like, what about we really would like to be able to talk to some victims. I'm like, well, I'm sure there's someone at Bank of America you could contact. They're still around, or SunTrust is still around. Well, we were thinking individual victims. I'm like, well, there's 4 of them.
All single mothers.
So I'm like, so you're telling me that out of the 60 some odd banks and 4 individuals, you don't want to talk to who lost the bulk of the money. You want to talk to the people who lost the least bit of money that I didn't take money from, but I caused them to actually have to go and hire an attorney for $4,000. You want to talk to that. You don't want to talk to Bank of America who lost $2 million.
Yeah.
You want to talk to them. Well, it's more of a, I'm sure there's an executive you can talk to.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you talk to an executive?
Because the executive won't talk to them.
Because an executive won't break down and cry and tell you something.
Sob story.
I was so terrified and tormented. I lost sleep.
Yeah, because he didn't even feel it.
Right. It's like,
he's not affected. His life is not affected by it. That's why.
But that's the bulk of the money. Like, that's it. That's what I did.
No,
like, let's talk to them. They're like
the sob story.
Yeah, we're really looking for someone that will cry.
Right.
And
Yeah.
tell you ruined their life for $4,000.
Yeah.
For you hired an attorney and paid him $4,000, and I ruined your life. If I ruined your life, if $4,000 ruined your life, you were hanging on by a thread, bro. I mean, honestly, a hurricane,
I did you a favor.
bad storm, something else was going to knock him. It was only a matter of time. Sorry. Does that come off unsympathetic?
Not at all. No, I love every bit of it.
It's
Beautiful.
Feel bad about that.
Matt, I think we've hit a wall here.
How long have we been going, Austin?
It's only 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
That's a good one.
What are you getting? What are you getting on your 35, 38%? 30 something this long, 32%?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
People, the watch
that
time.
make it all the way through.
About
I
32%.
have no idea. I don't pay attention to that shit.
Oh, we need to check.
Yeah, we'll check it. We'll check it after we turn it off. Turn it off. I
'cause
never look at that shit.
Yeah, because like the shorter ones, you'll
Some
get
people
like
are
41,
very
42.
Some people are very analytical and very into the numbers of their podcasts and stuff, and which is good. I'm sure it helps. Like people like you or people like Graham Stefan, they're very into.
Well, if you have 10 years of videos cranked out and you're constantly having people watch them, the
it's
numbers
good to look.
stop.
I'm sure it's good to look at. I never look at it.
You don't read the comments either. I respond to almost all my comments unless somebody says
I want to
something
start.
really
I was
messed
thinking
up.
about it last night. I want to start responding to all my comments and just fucking responding to the trolls and just talking shit. I think it'd be fun to do.
I don't do that. I'm not doing that. Like honestly,
I want to go start fights and light fires in the comment section.
Listen, you know what's funny is in the comment section, like some of these people will first of all, they're hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of them are hilarious.
Yeah, they are. Well, that's what's great about. That's what I do love. I love the comments. First of all, I'm not
creative.
knocking the comments. I don't read them a lot because they're really bad for my brain. It makes me not feel good about myself. But they are great because it's like a creative writing contest. Whoever can come up with like the most fucking
funniest comment,
articulate, hilarious sentence or whatever, it gets upvotes. So the best one rises to the top. So it's like a contest for whoever can fucking nail it the best. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
You know what I was gonna say? One of the things that happens is this is weird. So I always click, like post all comments. You know, you can put hold the ones that are negative or hold the ones that are derogatory. Like it actually gives you an option. Like if somebody cusses or something, they'll like hold it. I always say post them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't care
for the algorithm.
I don't care if it's what they say. It doesn't matter. Post them. So I get a lot of times where I can on the actual studio where when you look at it on your phone, it'll show you the first few lines. And then when I click on it to watch the whole thing, it says comment not found. Right?
That's weird.
And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like I'll click it and so a lot of times it actually still doesn't post it for some reason, even though I said and some of the comments, I'm sure that they're okay. Like that, like if the guy said something minor,
right?
I can't imagine what he said.
Well, it's just AI. You know what I mean? They're just like flagging shit if they say certain things. There's certain trigger words they'll block it for. You know what I mean?
Weird.
There's no way it's anybody can monitor all those comments. There's flaws in the AI.
I mean, I know it. Yeah, it's got to be a flaw because some of them are just not.
Yeah.
And some of them, of course,
some of them are fucking awful.
Yeah, some of them are really they're pretty vicious. Like I very quickly became hardened to it.
Yeah.
But like the first week or two after that first podcast,
I remember.
ready to argue.
Yeah, I remember.
We're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah.
Listen, I badgered some of those guys so bad they took their comments down. They were like literally, bro, I'm sorry. After thinking about it and what you said, I didn't think about it from that point of view. I have a different perspective now. I'm actually gonna edit my comment now and take it down. Nice. I didn't even know that was possible.
Nice.
Mission accomplished.
Only Matt Cox could do some shit like that. I'll tell you that. All right, plug your shit, Matt. Tell us about your books. Tell us about your paintings. Where can we buy shit?
Nobody's watched this long.
Somebody's here.
Yeah. Books. I got books.
There's a couple people here.
I got books. I've got
Buy Shark in the Housing Pool.
Paintings. You can contact me. Danny's gonna put my email in the description. Go or just he looked at you like I am. Or go to my channel at Inside True or Matt Cox Inside True Crime. Watch my videos. Like, subscribe. You don't do any of that.
Buy some shit.
Yeah.
Title Lock.
Share it.
Newt Gingrich. Title Lock.
Awesome.
Subscribe.
Title
Buy and
Lock.
subscribe.
Title Lock, subscribe.
That's so awesome.
Go to my channel. Subscribe. I got 30,000. Almost 31,000 subscribers.
That's
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
awesome, man.
You're killing it on
going.
YouTube, bro. You're
It's
killing
so
it.
awesome.
So-
Your
I remember
titles-
when you were like, "Oh, I got 1,000." Yeah, I got 1,000.
I was thrilled. I
I
didn't even
know.
know. I had 1,000 before I even knew. He had to tell me what it was. I'm like, what are these little things
Yeah.
showing up? He's like, let me see. Give me this. You got like 900 subscribers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I don't even have a channel. Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's
I have
awesome,
no idea.
man.
Matt Cox, the biggest true crime podcast on YouTube. Go subscribe to him. Go buy his books, and then buy LifeLock, Title Lock Insurance. Goodbye, world.
Adios.
See ya.